Live from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's the concluding game of this homestand. The Astros go for a 3-game sweep of the Boston Red Sox. Earlier today, the Astros' newest left-handed starter, Scott Kazmir, a native of Houston, said his farewells to Ray Fosse and others at O.Co Coliseum. He was to have started for Oakland this afternoon. Instead, he heads for Kansas City, where he'll be the starting pitcher for the Astros tomorrow night as they open their 3-game road trip. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown, along with Alan Ashby, Julia Morales joins us shortly, and the Astros have somebody with great credentials to join their rotation now.
And not just great credentials over a career, and he's had a good one, but this year pitching very well. A lot of that at the Oakland Coliseum, and his numbers are terrific there. But Scott Kazmir is a 3-time All-Star, a guy who should fit in very nicely and make the Astros stronger.
31 years old, and he's done especially well this year in 5 starts against the Angels, Texas, and Seattle.
A lot of the strikeouts, as you see, he was the leader in 2007. Come on the changeup now. He's become a fastball changeup. He's got the breaking pitches type of pitcher, but he's pitched very well against the American League West. You see there 5 starts against the Angels, Texas Rangers, Seattle, and so on in the West, and he's 4-0 in those starts. Scott Kazmir has pitched well. And you'll see as he goes after some Astros hitters, change after change, picking up strikeouts. He's got a very deceptive pitch with that one. And again, fits in nicely, very much like Dallas Keuchel in that regard.
And now you look at the Astros staff ace, Dallas Keuchel, and how the rotation has changed with the addition of another lefty Kazmir.
Of course, Dallas Keuchel remains the ace, and you hope it continues that way. Colin McHugh has been really good. Picked up another of his wins last night, 11 on the season for Colin. Then you add Lance McCullers and Vince Velasquez, and this rotation has a chance to be really dynamite.
Coming up, armed for the future. The arms race has heated up, and we haven't even mentioned the youngest and strongest arm in the rotation yet. Lance McCullers starts the second half, trying to stoke the fire of a blazing month of July. Julia has more on Lance straight ahead. Sports is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Coming up, bring it home. The Astros' road to the playoffs is running right through Minute Maid Park as fans are being treated to the best home baseball in a decade. Just how good has the home cooking been? We'll talk more about that and much more in just a few minutes.
Astros going for the sweep today, and a little extra buzz around the ballpark as the Astros add a piece to their starting rotation, which has been very good all year long. It really improved when Lance McCullers arrived on the scene back in May. This will be his 12th major league start today, leading all rookies in opponents' batting average as well as strikeouts per 9. But his starts don't come as often recently as every 5 days. In fact, we haven't seen him since that last game before the break. The time before that was 7 days before against the Boston Red Sox, who he'll be facing tonight. As we look back at that start, he went 5, gave up 7 hits, 3 walks, but look at this, worked around a lot of trouble, only gave up 1 earned run in that one. So looking at video, trying to get ready for this start, looking to see what maybe he could improve on there as far as executing pitches and things like that, but still felt pretty good about the way he pitched on that day. As far as pitching behind or the day after Colin McHugh, he really likes to see how McHugh attacks hitters, so that's another part of his game and game plan as he'll go into tonight. But he's had to stay sharp by putting himself in game situations in his bullpens, like I was saying earlier, as far as it's not every 5 days for Lance McCullers. This is the second time there's been a long stretch in between starts, but obviously can't emulate the game. So we're going to see how he responds tonight. But that last time out, the time before the break, he was pitching with maybe some little extra adrenaline, Brownie and Ash. Of course, the hometown hero impressing us back in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, Julia, he really did impress me. I'll tell you that much. 10 strikeouts, career high, and he did it in 6 innings. Yes, he allowed 4 runs in that ball game. To me, it was really one of those games where you just say, well, everything wasn't on your side. But to me, he was extremely sharp. And I think if you ask the Tampa Bay Rays hitters, they would tell you this kid is somebody you don't want to face. Changeup was even in effect that day. Had a very good breaking ball. Command seemed to be there much of the day. And I love what I've seen from Lance McCullers. I think that you don't have to say this young guy in the rotation anymore. To me, he's a guy to contend with every hitter.
He does have dynamic stuff. He's warming up now. And he would be in that top 10 in ERA, along with Keuchel and Kazmir if he had enough innings to qualify. He's at 2.52 for the season. He has really been something to this rotation, and in fact, it's been a while since a pitcher who's a rookie put together this kind of a run. First 5 starts in the major leagues at home, fewer than 2 earned runs in each one of them. 0-1 the last time, with Joel Dinero doing that. Here's the lineup that Lance McCullers will be facing tonight. It's Mookie Betts leading it off in center field. Brock Holtz at second base. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop. David Ortiz the DH. Hanley Ramirez in left field. Pablo Sandoval at third base. Alejandro De Aza in right field. Mike Napoli at first base. And Ryan Hannigan is the catcher.
Defensively for the Astros this evening in the outfield, left to right, Preston Tucker. A couple of bombs last night. Jake Marisnick at center and LJ Hosen right. On the infield, the left side is Marwin Gonzalez moving all over the place. He's at third, Correa at short. Jose Altuve's at second and Chris Carter at first. And behind the plate, getting a little offense tonight, Hank Conger works it with Lance McCullers.
For the Red Sox, who are trying to snap a 7-game losing streak, they have the worst winning percentage in the American League at .442. And they have lost the first 2 games of this series by scores of 8-3 and 4-2. Mookie Betts leads it off, 264. 10 homers, 45 runs batted in for Betts. Marwin Gonzalez in tight at third. And the pitch is upstairs. Ball 1 from McCullers. That's one of the dynamic young Red Sox players. He is 22 years old. He went 1 for 4 and drove in 2 runs in the opener of the series Tuesday night. And he's ahead 2-0 in the count. Now it's a 3-ball no strike count for McCullers.
Hate to see these moments at any point during a ball game, but especially your first 3 pitches of the night to just miss that way.
Now he gets a strike. Jerry Meals, the crew chief, is the home plate umpire. The start in Boston for McCullers brought 5 innings of work and 1 run allowed. He threw 101 pitches in those 5 innings. That's in for strike 2. McCullers here at home is 3-0 with a 1.20 ERA for those 5 starts.
That is loving your home yard.
Hit sharply into the left field corner. Extra bases for Mookie Betts. 24th double of the year for Betts to lead off the game for Boston.
You know, bottom line, I don't care how good your stuff is, you're going to get hit when you have to come 3-0 and on through the rest of the count, and that fastball got pummeled.
McCullers throws his fastball 80% when he's behind in the count.
Look at our strike zone presented by MD Anderson. And really, Lance had to come those last 3 fastballs right through the plate, and he did so. Mookie Betts, good-looking young player, laced it well.
Shift is on for Brock Holtz. And the native of Stephenville, Texas, looks at that pitch for ball 1. Holt at 286 has 2 homers, 22 runs batted in. He is 2 for 7 in this series. And a .250 hitter against the Astros, but he has hit safely in each of his last 12 games against Houston. In for a strike to Holt, who played at Rice University. It's 1-1. In addition to moving all around, he's played 7 different positions in the majors. Holt has never committed an error. He'll get the runner to third. Altuve to Carter on out number 1.
No errors on defense. Good solid work on offense, in particular against the Astros.
John Farrell has to like that kind of work with the bat. Betts with the double on third as a result of a ground out. Now an RBI opportunity for Xander Bogaerts. 311, 3 homers, 46 runs batted in, and a .400 average against Houston. In this series, 3 for 8. He's driven in 2. The infielders move in. Altuve and Correa will play it halfway. That's the breaking pitch for ball 1. According to a recent article, it's the hardest breaking pitch in the majors. He throws it harder than anybody else. He's on a par with Craig Kimbrell, the fine closer for the Padres. That one goes foul and into the seats for a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Bogaerts.
Just kind of looped one right through the heart of the plate there on the foul ball. 34% of the time using that breaking ball. And you can see some of the numbers. But it's been really tough on the hitters, as you would imagine, that hardest breaking ball in the bigs.
2 balls, 1 strike, as you can tell by that low .099 batting average against it. It has been awfully effective. And he'll vary the break on it, make it more slider-like, depending upon the hitter and what his objective is with the pitch. Not chasing. Bogaerts takes ball 3. Since the 31st of May, he's been the best hitter in the American League in batting average, .354, and currently he's ranking 6th at .311.
Just watch Bogaerts a couple of games. You'll see that he's got what it takes to be a really good batting average hitter, and I think he can do other things as well. But he gets behind in the count at all, and he starts shooting to right field. He stays on the baseball till it's deep.
This afternoon, Urban Santana and the Minnesota Twins shut out the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim 3-0. Garrett Richards the loser, so the Astros have a chance to move up a game closer to the top spot. Foul back. It's still a full count. Houston currently a game and a half off the lead pace set by the Angels, who will be here next week. A.J. Hinch's club heads for Kansas City after this game. And newcomer Scott Kazmir will lead off the 3-game road trip tomorrow night in Kansas City against Jeremy Guthrie. Foul tip, strikeout. 2 outs. That is very big.
Nothing stunning about the location from McCullers, but still able to get the strikeout on that breaking ball. Take a peek with our Super Mo on that last breaking ball from McCullers, and of course that Super Mo presented by Mattress Firm. Now you can see pretty much a hanger, and yet it's such a tough pitch. He'll get a lot of swings and misses. Maybe the foul tip on that pitch.
David Ortiz is the batter. They look down on him from their seats. Upstairs, ball 1. Ortiz, a .231 hitter, has 16 homers, 45 runs batted in. 2 for 16 against the Astros with 6 walks, and in this series he is 0 for 7. In for a strike, and it's 1-1 to Ortiz. Big Papi is the all-time leading designated hitter in hits, homers, and runs batted in.
That was that unusual changeup that McCullers throws. It hit 90 miles an hour. He's been up to 91 with that pitch, and hitters are still in front.
1-2. Well, he had an animated discussion with you and Nolan Ryan about the changeup a few days ago.
Yeah, really just kind of talking about how he holds it, listening to what Nolan had to say. Steve Sparks was involved in that conversation. It's fun when you get a young player that's willing to discuss things like that.
In the dirt. 2-2. And of course, a guy with his thirst for knowledge is going to benefit from hearing you guys talk about it. Lance, 21 years old. In the air to left field and deep. Going back, Tucker looking up. That bangs off the wall. 1-0 Red Sox. RBI double for Ortiz. 46th run batted in. Double number 16 for Big Papi.
Now, unlike Bogaerts, Ortiz got the breaking ball, didn't miss it, shoots it the other way. Tough hitter, no matter what you come at him with. Comes with the breaking ball on the 2-2, and not a bad location.
Pair of doubles in the inning have Boston striking first, and it's Hanley Ramirez. Line shot, right field corner, slicing and going foul. LJ Ho's tracking it on strike one by Ramirez. Ramirez is 2 for 7 in this series. 222 against the Astros with 2 home runs for Hanley this year. And like several of his teammates, he has really feasted on Astros pitching for his career. He's a .364 career hitter against Houston with a .642 slugging percentage in 46 games. Only Kenny Lofton at .373 has a higher career batting average against the Astros. Bouncer up the middle. Altuve short hop play for out number 3. 1 run scores on 2 hits. Big Papi drives it in to give Boston a 1-0 advantage. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Jose Altuve on a 6-game hitting streak will lead it off and play second base. It's Marwin Gonzalez at third base. Carlos Correa at shortstop. Evan Gattis the DH. The left fielder is Preston Tucker, followed by first baseman Chris Carter, catcher Hank Conger, right fielder LJ Hose, and center fielder Jake Marisnik.
28-year-old left-hander Wade Miley on the hill, 8-8 on the year, 4.49 the ERA. 2-0 lifetime against the Astros. Last time out at the Angels, took a no decision, and he was brilliant. 1 hit allowed, that was it in 7 innings, and no runs against him. Walked a pair. But Wade Miley, sharp last time out.
Jose Altuve grounds one. Here's the shortstop, Bogarts, just flipping him at first base. 1 out on 1 pitch for Miley.
Defensively for the Red Sox, Hanley Ramirez in left, Mookie Betts in center, and Alejandro Diaz in right. Left side of the infield of Pablo Sandoval and Xander Bogaerts on the right, Brock Holt and Mike Napoli. Ryan Hannigan is behind the plate.
Marwin Gonzalez had his feet propped up on a chair at his locker a few hours ago. But things are not well with his legs. He was drilled in both ankles a couple of nights ago. He said he's fine to play. 256, 6 homers, 20 runs batted in. He's probably felt better, but he really prepares himself to play each day, whether he's in the lineup or not. And that has played well for the Astros. There's strike 1 to Marwin. Marwin, the switch hitter, is hitting .303 as a right-handed batter. On this homestand, he's gone 3 for 9. Pinch hit last night. Miley, who gets a lot of ground balls, throws it low, and it's 1-1. As Ash mentioned, Miley really had it going against the Halos with a no-hitter through 6, only to get a no decision. A game they lost 1-0 in the 9th inning. 2 balls and a strike. He's had his moments this season, but overall a 4.49 ERA, indicating some ups and downs. High, and that's going to be a Marwin Gonzalez Game-tying homer. Number 7. "21 runs batted in for Marwin and a 1-1 tie for the Astros."
I guess he feels all right. You know, if you have to run on some sore feet, ankles, that's the way to do it. That right side of the plate, he just continues to show a very quick bat.
He really whipped the bat, hit through quite well. The Astros lead the majors. That's their 133rd long ball. They hit 3 last night. Carlos Correa is on a 7-game hitting streak. There's strike 1 to him. That's the 10th home run surrendered by Miley in 109 innings. Correa has hit 8 bombs. He's driven in 25 with a 289 batting average for Carlos. In for a strike. 0-2 on Carlos during his 7-game hitting streak. He's been a 375 hitter. 389 for the homestand for Correa. That was a 378-foot homer by Gonzalez. And tied for Miley, and it's 1-2 with Evan Gattis on deck. The Astros have won their last 3. They're 4-1 on this homestand. They're averaging 6.2 runs in the 5 games. Strikeout for Miley, 2 outs.
Back to that home run by Marwin Gonzalez. Look at this right-handed stroke. He just drives right down through the baseball. And he didn't miss any of this thing. 4-seam fastball right on the barrel. And he knows it right there, no doubt. It's a nice way to start a night. It loosens up the swing for the rest of the evening.
Ball 1 to Evan Gattis, a 243 hitter with 16 homers, 56 runs batted in. Line shot into center field. Gattis right on that pitch. Hit number 2 of the inning for the Astros. That'll get Preston Tucker to the plate.
Comparing beards down there at first base. Rich Dower has to back out of that conversation.
Tucker batting 5th against the lefty tonight. Miley's surrendering a 234 batting average to left-handed hitters. Tucker 264. 8 homers, 26 runs batted in, and had his first 2-home-run game as a major leaguer. Whoa! There's a pickoff. Gattis was leaning, and Napoli tags him out. That ends the first with 1 run, 2 hits, nobody left, and it's 1-1.
Skipper on the Astros just after the Scott Kazmir trade, saying, Houston was good yesterday, they're good today. Always a great quote, Socia is. But A.J. Hinch talking today about the Astros players and how they felt in there, saying the players were excited. This time of year is just very exciting for them because they follow all the rumors, but definitely excited to see this addition, and it adds a little bit of a boost of energy for this clubhouse. Once it's up to you guys, I'm good.
And we are joined by General Manager Jeff Luhnow. As you do throw it up here, Julia, there's plenty to talk about with Jeff and our producer Carl Patterson. Jeff, this is nothing new to you. He was researching the deadline deals near the trade deadline for the Astros down through the years. He said the last one was in '98. It's been a while.
It has been a while. And, it's a really nice position to be in, to be able to add to this club, a club that's been competing hard all year and is clearly in the playoff hunt this year. And anything I can do to make this club better, I want to take advantage of it.
We heard really good comments from the players, and probably for a couple of reasons. Sandoval hits that one in the air foul. Marwin coming over, and that's out of play for him. Well, for one thing, as you know the players' mentality, they didn't lose anybody out of their clubhouse, and that's big because they like the guys in their clubhouse.
Right, no doubt about it. And to get an addition like Scott Kazmir, when we faced him, we've all watched him, we know how good he can be. To get him here to help our club, I think that goes a long way, not only to the guys in the clubhouse, but throughout baseball. I mean, people are realizing that the Astros are not just here for half a year. We're here to win this division. We're here to go to the playoffs.
Something, too, being the team that goes out there and makes that first deal?
I think so. I mean, it was taking a while to get going, and I certainly was working hard. I was talking to multiple teams trying to figure out, but we had Scott Kazmir at the top of our list from the very beginning, and I was just fortunate. Oakland realized probably a few days ago that they probably were going to make some moves, and I kept calling and texting Billy, and eventually we got a deal done.
So where does this leave things then? Are you done, or is there more of the phone call thing to be done?
Well, we're going to continue to work. I think there are still ways we can improve this team. There are a lot of clubs right now that are at least having conversations about the guys on their club. Maybe it's a position player, maybe it's a reliever, maybe it's another starter, but we're going to look at all those opportunities and see what it's going to cost from our standpoint to get those guys.
Carter with a backhand play, tossing to McCullers for out number one. And the fact that Kazmir now will make 2 starts before this deadline also plays into it.
And that's big. And the fact that he can make the start tomorrow night in Kansas City and then come back and make a start against the Angels, who we're trying to track down in the division. Those are 2 bonus starts. If we'd waited till the 31st, we'd be without those. And this guy's got electric stuff from the left side. He's got command of it. And I think whether left-handed, right-handed lineups, he can carve them up, and he's had a great year so far.
Great stats against the American League West. Does that mean anything to you, or is that just one of those stats out there that's kind of nice to look at?
Oh, it means something. I mean, the month of September, we are going to be playing primarily American League West opponents. And first of all, to take Kazmir away as an opponent and add him to us against everybody else is huge.
Piazza at 263 takes, and McCullers with the strike. You have to be so pleased with what McCullers has brought to this club.
Absolutely. I mean, the 2 young kids, McCullers and Velasquez, have done a tremendous job holding up our rotation. And one of the nice things about getting a guy like Kazmir here is he gives us a little more flexibility. We now have 6 starters plus the guys that are in AAA. We can work something out where maybe these guys get a little bit of a breather because they're both going to reach their career highs in innings, and they're young players who we really want to be available and fresh for the end of the season.
We haven't really seen Phillies in a ball game, certainly as a starter. Great stuff is what we hear from the minor leagues. Do you allow yourself to sit back and dream about what might be someday with those youngsters in the rotation?
Absolutely. And Phillies is pitching tomorrow night in Corpus again. I was just talking to Doug Brocail about him today. He definitely has a potential to be a very, very solid pitcher here in very short order.
In the air, and the right fielder L.J. Hose comes in. It's been one of those years. L.J. Hose comes up and contributes. A lot of different people have been a part of this thing.
It has been. And, Preston Tucker coming up and becoming a more or less of a fixture. L.J. Hose being here. Santana coming up and having a nice second turn in the big leagues. Singleton seems to be getting more comfortable. And, that's what it takes. When you sit back at the end of the year and you've had a successful year, it takes a lot of people contributing, not only from your initial 25-man roster, but from the rest of the organization.
Do you feel good about where you are with the bullpen right now?
I do. I mean, I think the break was important for them, and Gregerson's just been great in that 9th inning role. Neshek has been nails in the 8th inning role, and I think Fields and Qualls and Sip and the rest of the guys are going to figure out how to take care of those important innings. But it's an area that we're going to continue to look at, and there may be an opportunity to improve it. And in September, when rosters expand, we got some guys in the minors that could play important roles in the bullpen.
With the way the minor league teams and players in particular have done this year, does that make you tend to be a little more cautious about deals, about jumping into something where you might lose somebody that could be quite a player in the future?
It does, and every time you make a deal like that, you wonder if these guys become really good, am I going to regret it? But the reality is, we've spent the last 4 or 5 years building that farm system so that we could get to this point where if we need something, we need a piece to get into the playoffs, we can go acquire it and not look back. So, I had no buyer's remorse this morning when I hung up the phone. I felt like, yes, both Nottingham and Mengden could turn out to be good big leaguers, but I feel good about what we did and the reasons we did it.
1-2 to Mike Napoli. You expect the dominoes to start to fall quicker now?
I do. I saw Aramis Ramirez was traded. I think there'll be some pitchers probably going off the board here quickly, and I know we're still active in some conversations.
With the Angels playing so well, I guess I sit there and wonder, what might the Angels do? Are you doing the same thing?
I am, and I hear rumors of them going after a bat and other things, but we got to take care of ourselves. We face the Angels 9 more times, including 3 times next week and another 3 times in September here at home.
High to left field. This one's headed for the seats. And Napoli has connected 2-1 Boston.
Second hanger from Lance tonight that's gotten pummeled to left field. And actually, reflecting back to the Mookie Betts home run, that was the fastball after falling behind 3-0. This a hanging breaking ball, stays up and in. And Mike Napoli, who has not been a hot hitter, able to get the barrel to it. You can see how he varies that rotation from breaking ball to breaking ball. Some more like a curve, some more like a slider. In this case, exactly what Mike Napoli wanted.
Do you think players suffer a little letdown if there's not a trade up to the deadline, Jeff?
I do think so, because they're reading all about it. Other teams are making trades.
Hannigan with a single to left.
And they want to feel like the organization is behind them and giving them every chance possible to get to the next level and potentially win a ring. So that's not why we do it, but it certainly is an effect that I think is positive in the clubhouse.
Did you get some attaboys from the guys today?
I did. I did. I was downstairs in the dugout and in the clubhouse, and they were pretty happy, and I think they'll be even happier tomorrow night.
Mookie Betts opened the game with that double. There's ball 1. Would you like to see the trade deadline pushed back?
I don't think so. I mean, the reality is it takes a deadline to motivate people to do stuff in a lot of instances. And, I think the fact is you're getting these guys sometimes only for a couple months. If you're only getting them for a month, you might not be as inclined to go out and do something. So I think it works pretty well the way it is right now.
Now Brent Strom is coming out, and obviously this requires the okay of ownership for the expenditure for the salary acquired, and he is a potential free agent at the end of the year, and so this is the go for it mode that the Astros have moved into this year.
Absolutely. And I was on the phone with Jim Crane last night and this morning, and very willing to invest in this team and invest in this team's chances to win something right now. And who knows, we were bidders on Kazmir when he was a free agent last time, and we might have those conversations with him at some point, and he may end up in an Astros uniform for the next 3 or 4 years.
I think a lot of people would wonder, how long does a deal like this typically take to put together? Does it happen in one day, or is it over a period of time?
Rarely does it happen in one day, unless it's the deadline, and there have been some deals that have happened in a couple hours or maybe one phone call. But this one in particular took about 2 weeks to come together, from the initial phone call to the flurry of texts and phone calls this morning. And it's a long process, a lot of phone calls, a lot of research. Oakland was out seeing our system, seeing the guys they might want to ask for in a trade, and we were doing the same thing, trying to figure out who we wanted from not only Oakland but other clubs. But it was a lot of communication back and forth.
Now I would assume that early on you let a team like Oakland know who are the players. Don't bother asking about these guys, and so it goes from there.
We do. They sometimes ask for them anyway. That's part of the nature of it. But we do guide them in terms of where we think the pockets of players are that we'd be willing to trade from. And yeah, I think we ended up in a good spot. They got 2 players they really liked, and we didn't necessarily hurt ourselves too much in terms of our upper level prospects that we think are going to contribute here in the next year or two.
Rockhold comes up with 2 men on and 2 outs. And there's ball 1. As you have your tentacles out there and get your intelligence on what other teams are doing, did you have a sense that other clubs were trying to close in on Kazmir?
Definitely, and I think I know there was at least 1 or 2 other clubs that were active all the way through last night, and fortunately for us, Oakland wanted the player we had.
A hit to left field. Tucker comes up, throwing to the plate. Here's Hannigan, and the tag by Conger. He's out! That's a big-time play. Preston Tucker gets it to Hank Conger. And we'll get another look at it.
Preston Tucker is not known as having a great arm. He throws fine, but what he does, he charges really well and sets himself up with a relatively short throw, and he puts it on the money. Nice job in left field, and it's always nice to finish it off with that catcher's mitt. And Conger gets it done.
Our thanks to Jeff Luhnow for joining us. Jeff, congratulations on the trade today.
Thanks, guys.
The Red Sox tried to add on to their lead, but then that fine play at the plate by Tucker and Conger prevented run number 3 from scoring. Now Tucker leads it off here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Ball 1 to Preston. 264 for Preston. 8 homers, 26 runs batted in. And he clubbed the 2 home runs last night against the Red Sox. 1-1. By the way, that was ruled a caught stealing on Evan Gattis when Tucker was at the plate on the throw over to first by Miley to end the Astros' 1st inning. Miley's from Louisiana. He was born in Hammond and went to southeastern Louisiana. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Tucker's gone down on 1 knee to hit a couple of his home runs this season. Did that on the changeup last night. It's 2-2. Preston has hit .218 against left-handed pitching. 12 for 55. Chris Carter's on deck. Hank Conger due up 3rd in the inning. And a foul ball. Let's look at those swings from last night.
He hits a bomb to left center field that first time. It just gets it out, and then a little more majestic to right field as he hits the 2-run shot, his 2nd of the night. 4 runs on the night, all coming home via the home run.
He watches the breaking pitch, and it's 3-2. 28-year-old Wade Miley was a sandwich pick in the draft by Arizona after the first round in 08. Boston got him in a trade last December for Ruby De La Rosa and Alan Webster. He was 8-12 for Arizona last year. Pitched a game here, got a no decision. Little roller goes out to second, charged by Holt, and he shovels over to Napoli, 1 out. And Miley was an all-star in 2012, second in Rookie of the Year, balloting that season, going 16-11 for the D-backs with a 3.33 ERA. He's 46-43 in his big league career. He was a part of the remade starting rotation for the Red Sox over the winter. Chris Carter with 16 homers, 43 runs batted in, has a 190 batting average. Lefty Brian Johnson started, and Carter hit a homer, another single, and drew a walk in the game Tuesday night. The Astros 8-3 win. One ball, one strike. The Astros are leading in the wild card race. Minnesota Twins fell behind them in that wild card race, at least for the top wild card spot in the American League. There will be 2 spots. 2 balls and a strike, and now they can pull to within 1 of the front-running Angels for the division lead, which is very important to all these clubs because the wild card series is a 1-game crapshoot. 2 balls, 2 strikes, even though there will be those quick to remind that there have been several recent World Series winners who were wild cards.
Giants and KC, both wild cards last year.
Yeah.
Made up a pretty nice World Series.
Carter's down on strikes. That's number 2 for Miley. Our Toyota drive to the playoffs finds the Astros trailing in the AL West, but leading that wild card race, and we'll show it to you right here. 1.5 game lead for the Angels at the moment. And then in the wild card, the Astros have a 1.5 game lead over the Twins, who authored that shutout win today at Anaheim, 3-0. Irvin Santana beating Garrett Richards. Hank Conger bats. Breaking ball is high for ball 1. Conger with 6 homers, 14 runs batted in, is hitting .236. Hank is hitting .161 right-handed. It's 2-0.
But to go with those numbers, his first 2 career home runs from the right side of the plate.
L.J. Hose is on deck. It's 2-1. 6 tough games coming up for the Astros after this one tonight. 3 in Kansas City, 3 here against the Angels next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. And Arizona will be here next weekend, a week from tomorrow night. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They would love to put this one in the win column tonight, knowing what's in store in Kansas City. 3-2. The Royals have the best record in the American League. They will throw Guthrie, Duffy, and Ventura at the Astros.
Back-to-back changeups from Miley. Did it miss? If it did, not by much.
Conger draws a walk with 2 outs. Hank has a .341 on base average coming into this game. The way the Astros lineup is constituted, that is significant. Players who get on base at a good rate really can go a long way to set things up for the guys with the power in this lineup. L.J. Hose at .333 has no homers, 1 RBI, 4 for 12. Jake Marisnick is on deck. Scott Feldman had been the scheduled starter for tomorrow night at Kansas City, and he's been pushed back now to Saturday, with Kazmir joining the rotation tomorrow night, and that will also split up the 2 lefties, Kazmir and Keuchel, with Feldman in between. Strike to Hose. It's 1-1. A day like this really gets everybody's interest piqued in baseball. That trade bringing Kazmir here, and now people wondering what other trades will be made by other teams. Maybe more by this Houston team. 1 ball, 2 strikes. All kinds of rumors are swirling about.
Can't help but wonder, and you wonder, or I do, whether the LA Angels might think, well, it's on now, and now we need to go out and make sure we fortify our team. It's going to be fun watching.
Yeah, they just lost David Freese for 3 weeks with a broken pinky finger. Foul ball there, 1-2.
It's a ball club that's been intriguing as their pitching staff has gotten better and better as the year has gone on.
The Angels had won 18 of 20 before today. They got 4 hits against the Twins with Santana winning it, and that Minnesota club, which had fallen behind the Astros in the wild card race, got a lift from Santana, who has just returned from an 80-game suspension. Glenn Perkins got his 29th save. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That added wild card team has just created such a different type approach this time of year. So many teams are in the thick of things. So many teams striving for that division title rather than just the 1-game playoff in the first round. So now we take a look at the rotation with Keuchel, McHugh, Kazmir, McCullers, other possibilities, of course.
Yeah, Vince Velasquez is a guy that has impressed all along. Last time out, I thought maybe his best looking overall start. But a lot of talent now coming together.
That's a ball to LJ, and it's 3-2 now. Miley has thrown the 4th lowest percentage of strikes with his fastball in the majors. This will be his 25th pitch of the inning. 3-2, 2 outs. The runner goes, and it's ball 4, and it gets away. Conger will move around second and then hold on there on the walk to Host. Back-to-back walks on 3-2 pitches, and Marisnick will bat.
Well, just to show we're not forgetting some of the guys. Velasquez, I just felt like he needed mention there with that first group. Scott Feldman, he'll get some spot starts, see how things work out there. I'm curious, does Scott wind up doing some work in the bullpen? I would imagine at some point.
Well, there are several possibilities, but the idea is to increase the depth, and the addition of Kazmir has helped with that. So obviously a player move will need to be made by tomorrow night for the Astros to get Kazmir on the roster. 231 for Jake Marisnick, 5 homers, 21 runs batted in, 2 for 11 with an RBI against Boston this season. And there's strike 1 to Marisnick. Jed Lowry returned for a workout before the game tonight. He played the first of his rehab games last night for Corpus Christi. Going 0 for 2, he said he did not have any fielding chances at third base in that game. He'll play for Corpus again tomorrow night at third base, and then Saturday he'll play shortstop and take Sunday off. And the plans are to give him 5 days of games, so that would be 3 through the weekend, and then reevaluate him after 2 more games next week to see where things are. 2 balls and a strike. It could take a couple of weeks. The Astros certainly hoping that Jed is back and playing well soon, but they want to give him time and make sure the right thumb is all right after surgery.
And it really was his right-handed stroke that was producing the pop from the bat early this season.
2-2. Did you read the one article indicated that the thought is it might take him a little bit longer to get that right-handed stroke back together again after the surgery to the right thumb. And as a switcher, you would know more about that. The role of the right thumb in batting right-handed, or is it just fewer at bats right-handed, do you think?
Well, it could be both, but to me it's the former there.
Marisnick strikes out. That's number 3 for Miley, and it's 2-1 Boston after 2.
Or maybe a little of each with the Astros 14-game flex plan. You get to pick the games and seat locations that work best for you. Purchase your 14-game flex plan today by visiting astros.com/tickets or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS. Minute Maid Park is the place to be these days. These Houston Astros playing very well here at their home ballpark. You can see the record. This is since June 1st, 16-5. Some incredible games. Of course, the home runs, making games a lot of fun. 35 home runs there. But throughout the broadcast, we are going to highlight some of the players who've been key in the success here at Minute Maid Park. A good sign this club is taking advantage of their home turf, guys.
Sure is, Julia. Thank you for that. 2-1 Red Sox. Xander Bogaerts leads it off in the 3rd inning. McCullers' fastball is foul back, strike 1. McCullers has given up 5 hits and 2 runs through the first 2. And 1 walk. Pitching for the first time, as Ash mentioned, since that game right before the All-Star break, July 12th. So it's been a lot longer, of course, between starts than the norm.
You know, I think it's fair to ask, is it helpful on an arm to stay away from getting out there and competing on the hill and then come back and try to do it again? I guess only time's going to tell about how you deal with these arms and try to stay away from the surgeries.
What a play by Carlos Correa! Wow!
Oh, dear. Oh, my goodness. None of us expected Correa to glove this ball. Once he did, the way he pops up and then over the top just fires a seed across the diamond. So impressive.
Got him by about 4 steps, Ash.
Yeah, he winds up making it look easy. There was some time consumed there as Carlos had to come back up, but boy, once he unleashes that throw, doesn't take much time.
Magnificent play. Strike 1 to Ortiz. McCullers could really use that kind of a lift from a hard hit ball off the bat of Bogaerts. Ortiz doubled off the left field wall to drive in the first run of the game. Asked Vince Velasquez about his long time between starts before the game tonight.
Yeah, what was his reaction?
1-1. Well, this is 11 days between starts for McCullers, and Vince had a similar shutdown. He said that after about 50 pitches, he was starting to feel it. A little fatigued at that point.
Well, I'll say for Vince Velasquez's game, he was sharp. And I, again, was very impressed with what he did that night. So I couldn't say there was any rust left on him from not going out on the mound and pitching. Whereas tonight with Lance McCullers, his velocity has not been up to the usual 96, 97. and his command has been off.
There's a high rider striking out Ortiz. That's a mid-90s fastball.
And then there's Carlos Correa. I mean, really, that's just a bullet hit on his right side. Once he gloves it, I'm sure he thought to himself, oh, this is easy at this point. Not easy for a lot of other guys out there trying that.
Those are some tools. Too bad there's only one toolkit with those tools in them. Hanley Ramirez with ball one.
Yeah, they don't get to share those toolkits, do they?
No. Not generally available to the public at any price. Ramirez bounced out in the first inning, but back to Velasquez, he said he knew he had to power through it, and he did. He went 6 innings. He gave up 3 runs. He got his first major league win Tuesday night over Boston. Nonetheless, it's a little different for a starting pitcher. As you well know, starting pitchers are creatures of habit. And the habits have changed when it's a couple of weeks in between starts.
But just like a hitter likes to get into a groove, I think every 5 days a starting pitcher likes to get in that same groove. And again, all we can do is watch and see, can the arms avoid the surgeries that are so commonplace in the game today.
True. We'll have to do some more research on the St. Louis Cardinals. We were hearing tonight that Michael Wacha had some long shutdown periods in August a couple of years ago for the Cardinals, and it went very well for him in order to keep the innings lower for Wacha. 3 balls and a strike. So it's not as if no team has ever tried to do anything like this before.
Well, you look back at the Steven Strasburg deal when the Nats were getting ready to go into postseason play, and he got shut down in September and did not pitch in the postseason, and eventually needed Tommy John surgery. So it's, for me, it's ill-defined right now. And I just had too many teammates who threw all year long playing winter ball after pitching an entire season, and they would not get sore arms. And so it's hard to determine what really is the right way.
Right. Pablo Sandoval grounded out. He's hit .336 against the Astros for his career for 125 at bats, way outside ball one. It does not appear that McCullers' control is nearly as sharp as it had been. Last time out, he struck out 10 in 6 innings. He gave up 4 runs. He lost that game at Tampa Bay 4-3. He walked 3 in the game.
It's that finish coming right off the fingers, and it's not there consistently at all for Lance. Two-seamer. I don't think he throws a lot of those, but boy, that thing must have moved 2-3 feet.
It did. Have some arm side run to it. Now Conger goes out. He's thrown 4 of 16 first pitch strikes. Conger trying to help him through it. McCullers has had some dominant games. A complete game 3-1 win here over Baltimore. 4 hits in 9 innings, no walks, 11 strikeouts at the top of the list. Sandoval works the count to 3-0. He was one of the big free agent signings. Hanley Ramirez another for this Boston club. The 2 of them combined making about $185 million rather in contract money. And there's ball 4, and back-to-back walks will get De Aza to the plate. The Red Sox really went out and spent a lot on these 2 guys, and they are 11th in runs scored in the American League. They're averaging 4.05 runs per game, so their offense has not clicked. 3 walks for McCullers. Now Brent Strom is on his way out again. The Athletics lost today 5-2 to Toronto in Oakland. That was the game Scott Kazmir was scheduled to start. That change was made this morning. Arnold Leon was called up for the minor leagues to replace Kazmir on the roster, but Drew Pomeranz started. He went an inning and 2/3. And Leon worked in relief while Kazmir was on his way to Kansas City. R.A. Dickey won it. He's 4-10. Colors has had 7 3-ball counts in this game, and so the pitch count has run up to 63 already. Ash,
is that a part of not having pitched for a while, or is it something else? Because even if you're pitching every 5th day, you might and likely will have this type of a ball game. But yeah, it's just part of that equation. You have to size up.
Roberto Hernandez is warming up for the Astros. Alejandro De Aza, the batter. De Aza worked the count to 3-1 and hit a fly ball to right. It's ball 1.
You know, that breaking ball or changeup, anything off speed, off of the fastball, is going to be in the feel kind of pitch category. And I would just say that with those pitches, along with the fastball, just no obvious feel of the pitch.
De Aza chops it foul.
And velocity down. I think typically you would guess coming back after not pitching for a couple of weeks, you're going to be strong. Velocity would be up. But other than a 96-mile-an-hour fastball we just saw, I don't think the velocity has been there for Lance.
De Aza looks at it. It's in for a strike. 1-2.
Of course, after saying all that, he comes up with a real good breaking ball, but a little more consistency now.
Batting average against McCullers, 202 prior to this game. Correa to his left, on to Carter. And Correa's big play opened the inning. He makes a routine play to close it. No runs, no hits, 2 men left. 2-1 Red Sox.
At home since the beginning of June. Jose Altuve certainly featured there. As you see the run coming in, Altuve even launching to the Crawford boxes a couple of times. But it has been a hot streak, and Carlos Correa has been a big part of that streak. 313 at home. Very good on base plus slugging. And of course, Carlos Correa has a tendency of being able to do this all over the place. Mixing about another guy or 3 with those guys, and you suddenly get red hot as a team. You can also see, we don't talk a lot about Carlos and his running ability. He's fast.
Push bunt by Altuve. Miley will not get him. And that's the way the home third begins, with a bunt single by Altuve. That takes his hitting streak to 7 games. Very well executed.
Nice soft bunt. Don't know if that was his intent or if he wanted to get it by the mound. Boy, he can scoot once he starts down the line. You let him sniff a hit, he'll run with anybody. You can also see that Altuve's inside that running baseline. Almost everybody does it.
So if he had been hit by a ball there, could have been called out.
That's hit number 3 for the Astros. Marwin Gonzalez bats. He ripped a homer in the first inning. Altuve leads the American League in steals and in caught stealing. He has 27 stolen bases. He was moving back to first, and Miley has a good pickoff move. There's ball 1. Just thinking about next weekend, Ash, and the Angels being here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, all 7:10 starts. The fact that Scott Kazmir is pitching Friday night in Kansas City means he would be coming back to pitch one of those games against the Angels here.
I'm ready. If you're trying to get me ready, I'm already there.
1 ball, 1 strike. As we mentioned with Jeff Luhnow when he joined us, the Astros have not made this type of a stretch drive trade since the Randy Johnson deal in '98. That was totally different because they had a nice sized lead in the NL West. They went on to win it handily. They won 102 games. But their objective was to win and go into the World Series, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs to a red hot San Diego club. Marwin showing bunt, and he looks at ball 2. The Astros certainly hoping that Kazmir can help to lead their rotation, join in with Keuchel and the others to another playoff bid.
Pretty amazing when you consider that 2005 was the World Series year. There were a number of years there where postseasons were involved and no deadline trades.
It is. Yeah, that 05 team stood pat. Of course, loaded with veterans like Roger Clemens, Andy Pettitte, Roy Oswald. Just stayed with that core group, and they did come around to the second half, as did the 04 club.
Well, let me bring this one up. Obviously, there was a Carlos Beltran deal.
Yes. That was in 04. That was in June.
So that was well pre-trade deadline time.
Yes, we're talking about July, late July deals. But that proved to be important to get Beltran that early in the season and give him more time to work his magic in a Houston uniform. So that can be meaningful as well, the timing of the trade.
You talked about the magic Randy Johnson brought to this franchise and to the fans. Carlos Beltran did a pretty good job bringing that magic as well.
Oh, he did. Has anyone had a better postseason than he did that year?
Not sure.
Magnificent. That's a strike, and it's a full count now to Marwin. Seattle down Detroit in the 12th today, 3-2 in Detroit. Another tough day for Brad Ausmus. His club is now 1 game under 500 at 47-48. And there are rumors that the Tigers still haven't decided whether to sell David Price or not. He pitched well today, 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, getting a no decision. And that one may go up to the deadline before they even make that decision, depending on where they are in the standings. Line shot left field. Ramirez over. Ramirez makes the catch. Hard hit ball, 1 out.
Tough to go sit down when you hit a baseball like that. Marwin's doing it consistently. And again, watch the short to the ball stroke that Marwin is employing. 2-seam fastball. He can hit that one too. The 4-seamer he jacked out.
Carlos Correa is one of 2 shortstops in the last century to have 12 doubles in his first 36 major league games. Kaz Matsui was the other. The guy in left field today for the Red Sox is one of the few shortstops with at least 44 hits within their first 37 career major league games. Handy Ramirez had 49. Stephen Drew had 45. And Carlos Correa is right in that category as well. Correa now has 44 hits. Struck out first time up. The runner takes off. Altuve on a pitch in the dirt, and he does advance without having to steal it. It's on a wild pitch. 4th of the year by Miley.
Really nice quick reaction by Altuve to move on down. Look how quickly he reads it. Boy, as he took that secondary lead, he had bounced to it and was instantly gone.
Miley eyes him, turns. Correa is hitting .389 with runners in scoring position. With 4 homers, 20 runs batted in. He has lit it up in these situations. Not chasing, and the count goes to 2-1 on Carlos. Red Sox know all about him. His OPS is 1197 against Boston. How about the weighted runs created plus figure? 137. He does chase there. That makes it 2-2.
A couple of whiffs on changeups here in this at bat. And I would imagine Carlos would tell you, I thought I was swinging at a fastball in each case. Look at that grip.
Yes.
Just never quite gets to you.
Now 3-2. Correa has 9 walks. Drew 2-1 game a couple of nights ago for the first time as a major leaguer. Trying to exercise that plate judgment. Rockhold is shading up the middle. And that's ball 4. Correa takes the walk, and now 2 men on, 1 out for Evan Gattis.
Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Evan Gattis stroked a single into center field back in the first inning. Now he has 2 men on and 1 out. Preston Tucker's on deck. Gattis takes a look at it, and it's ball 1. Astros 13-13 against the clubs in the American League East. They'll be moving to the AL Central to meet Kansas City next, having swept the Royals in this ballpark. In for a strike, 1-1. The Royals, though, have been flying high lately.
Think very close to that same pitch that was called a ball, a little bit above.
Gattis fouls it away. 1-2 to Ed. As you may have noticed on that graphic earlier tonight, 35 of the final 66 games for the Astros will be within their division. We get back into that field next Tuesday night when the Angels open that 3-game series here. Down and in, and it's 2-2. That'd be a great time for fans to come out and take advantage of that special pricing on the weeknight games. 58 pitches, 30 of them strikes for Miley. Bouncer, and there's Holt at second. Tossing and getting the force play. That's out number 2. A slowly hit ball. That's all the Red Sox had time for. And Bogarts looked over at third, but Altuve was anchored to the bag as Gattis bounced into the force from 4-6.
Now, I wonder if Holt had come on and was able to pick that ball up a little sooner, if they might not have had a better shot at the double play. Also, I wonder if Holt possibly got surprised at how well Gattis got down the line.
Both valid questions. Preston Tucker worked the count full. He bounced out in the second inning. His younger brother Michael doing a good job in his first stint at pro baseball after being a first-round pick by the Astros in June. Chris Carter's on deck. And it's ball one.
Previous ground ball. Holt's the only one that's got a shot. If he comes on and takes that ground ball closer to the back, he might have been able to make a 4 unassisted double play.
In the dirt. Hannigan stopped it. 2-0. Miley's a little erratic with some of his offerings tonight.
I would say Hannigan was fortunate on this one, trying to backhand that ball out of the dirt. The ball just kicked up and eventually hit him in the mask and stayed there.
Scorebook out on the lap. One way to enjoy the game, as many fans do. In for a strike. That makes it 2-1 to Preston Tucker.
Quality 2-0 curveball.
Yep. The Astros have hit well this homestand at crunch time. They have a .247 batting average with runners in scoring position. Nobody's writing home about that, but it was .241 when they came out of the break. So this homestand, they've picked up the pace, and they've hit .290 as a team in batting average during this homestand. Third in the league in runs scored right now. Their 32-17 home record is tied with Kansas City for the best home mark in the American League. That's off the plate, and it's 3-1 now to Tucker.
Miley creates a tough angle for left-hand hitters. A little bit of a crossfire. Could be more extreme if he would stand on that first base side of the rubber.
Fly ball out to center field. Mookie Betts underneath. And in the third, the Astros threatened, but it's no runs a hit. 2 men stranded. 2-1 Boston.
First, yeah, Lance McCullers. He has been dynamite here pitching at Minute Maid Park. And he has carved away hitter after hitter. Brent Strom has to be very pleased. And then out of the bullpen, it's been Luke Gregerson. He just continues to get the job done. Came up with a save in last night's game. Doesn't hurt when you get some help like that at shortstop from Carlos Graham. Luke Gregerson has been dynamite as the closer out of the pen.
2-1 Boston. Mike Napoli the batter, and there's strike one. Napoli ripped the homer in the second inning, lifting the Red Sox in front 2-1, his 11th of the year. But he's hit only 201. He's had some powerful seasons. It's 1-1 to Napoli. Napoli's now 33 years old. With Texas in 2011, he hit 30 bombs while his batting average was .320. He drove in 10 runs in that World Series in 2011 with Texas with a .350 batting average. But last year with Boston, he hit .248, 17 homers, and had a career low slugging percentage. He cracks this one on a line into the left field corner. One hops the wall. Tucker picks it up barehanded, fires into second, and it gets by Altuve. He had a shot at him, but the throw was not accurate. Napoli will be credited with a double.
Mike Napoli had a rough series, that 3-gamer up in Boston a couple of weeks ago against the Astros, but he's feeling it tonight. He's put on some couple of very good swings. He gets a fastball right there in that happy hitting zone. As Brownie says, he's a guy that can display the power very well, and a lot of power hitters in streaks, and maybe he's finding it right now. He may not want to mess with him.
That's hit number 6 for the Sox. Ryan Hanigan, the batter. Strike one to Hanigan. Hanigan entered the night a .348 career hitter against Houston pitching. He's now reached base in 14 of his last 32 plate appearances. Line drive looping to right field. Here's L.J. Ho's running catch, firing into second. Whoa, Correa with a stretch. And that made it interesting. One out.
Nice play by L.J. I don't think we can say we've seen enough of L.J. Ho's to know if he's able to make big-time plays defensively. Makes a nice one right here. I think when you've got George Springer out there, typically you get pretty well spoiled.
Nice effort by Correa to try to double him off. Mookie Betts, the batter. Strike to Betts. He has a double and a walk. He was in a terrible automobile accident as a youngster. Had some broken bones. Foul back. No balls, 2 strikes. He grew up in the Nashville, Tennessee area, and his uncle is Terry Shumpert, longtime major league player. He tagged around after Terry and really picked up a lot about the game from him. Mookie had been a second baseman and made the conversion to outfield last year. He had a WAR, wins above replacement figure, of 4.0 up to the All-Star break. Ground ball up the middle. Correa tracks it to his left. Strong throw. Very well done. 2 outs. Napoli to third.
This play turns out to be one of the few times we've seen Correa not throw from that semi over the top position that he often uses. But he knew he had to hurry, knowing the speed of Betts, and still got a lot on it.
Good point, Ash. Different arm angle, but still plenty of power on that throw. Rock Holt is 1 for 2. He singled through the left side earlier. There's strike 1. That was the only thing we heard through the grapevine, that Carlos Correa really didn't do very much in the minor leagues. Throw from that sidearm angle, as shortstops often do. No balls, 2 strikes.
And you could possibly attribute that to the fact that he knows his game, and he knows his base runners, and he knows when he has to drop down and fire that way.
A little bit quicker release to throw the way he just did. Altuve fields the one hopper, and Holt is retired. No runs, a hit. Excellent play up the middle by Correa to keep it close to the 1 Red Sox.
Anderson. On July 23rd, 1967, Jimmy Wynn hits 2 home runs at Forbes Field, including a tape measure bomb that clears the center field wall 457 feet from home plate. Batting cages were placed to the left of the center field marker, known as Death Valley, because it was believed to be unreachable. Jimmy Wynn decided it wasn't.
Check out this batting cage in the field of play, Ash.
Those were ballparks that you just don't see anymore. Forbes Field. That's where we have seen Yogi Berra track back to the wall so many times, but the home run by Bill Mazeroski kept going out.
Yes, it did. Strike to Chris Carter. He struck out in the 2nd inning. That section of the left field wall of Forbes Field is still there. So if you're ever in Pittsburgh, feel free to attend. 1 ball, 1 strike, no admission. And there's a group of loyal Pirate fans every year on that date when Mazeroski hit the Game 7 World Series winning homer. They gather around that section of the brick wall left over from Forbes Field and play the broadcast from that day. They might be attending the World Series in Pittsburgh with the Pirates playing this year. Ground ball. There's Sandoval. And it's out number 1.
You know, we've heard so many times about dead ball era and live ball era and all that sort of thing, but when you start talking about home runs hit out of that kind of a ballpark, that baseball had to be fairly similar to what the guys are playing with today.
Yeah. Hank Conger drew a walk on a 3-2 count back in the 2nd inning. Pirates are at home tonight at PNC Park, and they lead the Nationals 6-1 in the top of the 8th inning. Mariano started for Pittsburgh. Breaking pitch slants in, and it's strike 1 call to Conger. Pfister got the start for Washington. Andrew McCutchen hit his 13th homer. 1-1. Pedro Alvarez also delivered number 13 for the Buccos. They're on the heels of the Redbirds in the NL Central. 2 balls, 1 strike. The Cardinals are in front of Kansas City. The game is in St. Louis. It's 4-2, bottom of the 7th. 2-2. The Cardinals, with a 60-34 record, are 33-12 at home. So the Royals won't have to go far to get home after that. 3-2 again to Conger. The Royals are 57-36 this season. Chris Young started for Kansas City. He was gone after 3 innings, giving up 4 runs. It's John Lackey for St. Louis. Roll to first, backhanded Napoli, and the lead toss is perfect for Miley. 2 outs. Pitch count, though, has reached 74 for Miley here in the 4th inning.
Now, Brownie, with all the trade talk, and rightly so today, with Scott Kazmir coming over, one of the fine fellows on the Twitter sphere, asked me to talk about maybe a pitcher coming over in a trade that might have been comparable, and that feeling. I don't ever recall having that big time guy traded for mid-season by an Astros club that I played for. We did the big ones in the offseason. Nolan Ryan, for example, coming over, and Don Sutton.
Yeah.
Mike Scott, we had no idea when we picked him up that he would turn into Mike Scott, but that worked out pretty well.
Yeah, some nice seasons. Fly ball over shortstop out to left field. Handy Ramirez. It's a 1-2-3-4 for Miley and a 2-1 Boston advantage.
Time for our progressive fan of the game. What a very special fan. PC Havens is with me right here in front, but celebrating a lot of things today, PC. You've got your 87th birthday. Happy birthday. And your 65th wedding anniversary. Congratulations on that as well. I know you're a big Astros fan. Tell me what you think of this team and how this game's going for you.
They're doing great. They're doing really good this year, and it's exciting to see it. You can tell it in the crowd. You know, so we're looking forward to good days ahead, and maybe in a series sometime soon.
You even got to take a tour of the clubhouse, I hear. You've had a pretty good day, haven't you?
Sure enough, have. That was very interesting to be back there and meet some of the guys, and you can tell their tempo is up now and ready to go.
You have 10 grandchildren, and some of them that are here with you tonight, but the 65 years for your wedding anniversary, I want to know the secret to a long and happy marriage, PC.
Well, my secret has been to start off living right, have fun, and then to longevity of it to keep up the same. We've had a great life and a lot of fun with our children, as well as, of course, the grandchildren now as well. And it's good to get over to Houston and see people that I haven't seen in a while, and it's a fun evening. Yeah.
Good to have you here. Happy birthday. Congratulations. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you so much. You're very kind to come by and say hello. Thank you.
Rounding up to you.
Thanks, Julia. David Ortiz, the batter. That's a strike. That makes it 0-2 on Ortiz after Bogarts hit the fly ball to L.J. Hose. McCullers has gone 5 for 6 in first pitch strikes after starting 4 for 15. After the leadoff double by Napoli, he's retired the next 4 thanks to some good plays by L.J. Hose and Carlos Correa. Big Papi looks at it, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count to him.
That pitch looked pretty darn good. Previous pitch, high strike, was called. I don't know that Jerry Meals wanted to do it back-to-back on David Ortiz.
In the air, he flings the bat away as Marlon Gonzalez comes over. 2 outs. Well, McCullers getting more favorable results. He gave up runs in each of the first 2 innings. 2 runs on 5 hits in those 2. Had a couple of walks with 2 outs in the 3rd, and the leadoff double by Napoli in the 4th. But keeping his club right in this game. Nonetheless, lefty Tony Sipp is at work in the bullpen. Hanley Ramirez the batter. He grounded out and he walked. Yankees beat Baltimore 9-3 at Yankee Stadium. Masahiro Tanaka winning his 7th, beating Ubaldo Jimenez. That's in for strike 1. Jacoby Ellsbury hit his 3rd homer. Sipp at work for the Astros. Chris Davis hit number 21 today for Baltimore. Manny Machado also connected for the 21st time. It's 1-1. Red Sox have lost the last 7. They were swept in a 4-game series in Anaheim before coming here. They'll be back home against Detroit tomorrow night. They're going to stay here overnight and travel early in the morning. Correa backhands, can't make the pickup. And Ramirez reaches.
Right there on the backhand side, and obviously Carlos was already planted, trying to just come up with it right there and make one of his strong throws. Never got a grasp. Right off the heel of the glove.
And an error, his 4th of the year. Pablo Sandoval comes up. He grounded out and he walked. It's out into left field for Preston Tucker to end the top of the 5th with no runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. 2-1 Boston. Is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Glad to have you with us tonight on Root Sports. Red Sox 2, Astros 1, 6 hits to 3 in favor of Boston. And the Astros come up now in the home 5th inning against Wade Miley with number 9 hitting, Jake Marisnick leading it off. He struck out in the 2nd with 2 men on. Sandoval's in tight at 3rd. And there's strike 1. Altuve and Gonzalez to follow here in the Houston 5th. White Sox are leading 8-1 at Cleveland. They're in the bottom of the 9th now. That swing takes the count to 0-2. They'll make it a final now. The White Sox have won at 8-1, and the winner Jeff Samardzija goes to 7-5, beating Trevor Bauer. He's 8-7. But will Samardzija make any more starts for the White Sox? Marisnick's down on strikes. That's number 4.
Jake looked like a hitter perplexed right there as to why he took 3 swings and came up empty with each one. There's that changeup grip. And he wind up being out in front, and that's exactly what's going on with Jake. But boy, it starts going through your mind right away. What is going on?
Altuve pushed a bunt for a single in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Ball 1 to Jose, and that single gives him a 16-game hitting streak at home. In for a strike, it's 1-1 to Altuve. .309 batting average on balls in play for Altuve. That ball is out to left field. Ramirez cannot make the play. Over his head, up against the bullpen fence. A double for Altuve. His 20th 2-base hit. That ball hit very well on a line by Altuve. He's 2 for 3.
Looked like Miley tried to come down and in, and Altuve just dropped the wand on it. That's exactly what it is. Cleared out nicely. Got the head on it.
Now a runner in scoring position for Marwin Gonzalez. That's hit number 4 for the Astros. Altuve with 2 of those. Now has 107 hits this season.
You can actually see on that swing how Jose had to try to get the left arm out of the way, a little bit of a chicken wing, and that's the way you do it with that pitch inside.
Quite a streak at home for Altuve now. 2 for 3 tonight. He's 23 for his last 57 here at home. 8th longest hitting streak in Minute Maid Park history. And drawing a look from Wade Miley as Marwin settles in. Marwin has ripped the ball twice. A homer in the 1st, a line out to left in the 3rd. He had a 2-1 count on his homer, and he was 3-2 in the 3rd inning. Taking that outside, there's ball 1. Samardzija tonight for the White Sox gave up 4 hits and 1 run in 8 innings. Didn't walk anybody. He struck out 3. And his name is out there for a trade in terms of the rumors. In for a strike, 1-1. You want some trade rumors from the Bleacher Report?
Bring it.
These are trades that they think would fit for the various teams. Aroldis Chapman from Cincinnati to the Dodgers for a prospect, a starting pitcher. Makes some sense, right?
I think if I were the Cincinnati Reds, I would want at least 2 prospects for Aroldis Chapman.
Well, no doubt. And he probably would get 2 prospects. It's 2-1. How about the Reds sending 2 other players in addition to Chapman? Just rumors. Johnny Cueto and Marlon Byrd, the outfielder, to Kansas City, thinking that Alex Gordon is down for the Royals. Byrd could replace him in left field. Cueto moves into the rotation. For prospect Raul Mondesi Jr., a shortstop, He is the 25th ranked prospect in the minor leagues by Baseball America.
So that one prospect brings those 3 starters.
Well, this is a different deal. But, you know, Kansas City is dead last in innings pitched by starting pitchers in the American League. So it makes sense if the Reds are going into sell-off mode, and they probably feel that, well, we'll market Chapman to one team who needs a closer, a contender like the Dodgers. Now, the Dodgers have a closer, but then they could have Chapman close and have their current closer be a setup man, Kenley Jansen.
So how many players in that deal you just proposed go to Kansas City?
Quite a one bird.
So 2 players.
Yeah, 2 players.
A starting pitcher and a starting positional player for 1 prospect.
Right.
I see.
Here again, you're right. Shouldn't there be more than 1 prospect? Well, it's just people are constructing deals. People in the media are making up deals. Low for ball 3, and here's Altuve out at third base. Big play by the Red Sox.
Hannigan makes a perfect throw, but I was watching Altuve all the way, and he was just streaking across the diamond. Look at that reaction. That's really close. You know how we talk sometimes about don't reach, just snap the tag down?
Yep.
It was a great example of Sandoval just taking the throw and already starting to snap before he even had the ball in the glove.
Hannigan really is an excellent defensive player. He blocked that ball right there in front. And then he made the short throw for a 2-5 play for out number 2. 3-2 count now to Marwin. It's not a caught stealing. And foul.
Yeah, I really like both ends of that. And there's generally not much view to a tag play, but when you drop it down that quickly, that snap drop down, can get a glimpse of Altuve. And he was digging. I mean, he was purely intent. But look at that glove already starting to come down and then just snap down on the arm.
7th full count for Miley, and it is ball 4. That's his 4th walk of the night. The Astros hitters really exercising patience in this game. They are 4th in the league, believe it or not, in drawing walks. Many people don't believe that because their on base average is 11th in the league. Carlos Correa drew a walk in the 3rd inning. He struck out in the 1st. Miley is 2-0 lifetime against the Astros in 3 starts with an ERA of 3.00. And the throw to first. He does have a good move.
Decides to come over when Marwin's about 2 feet off the bag, I would say. I don't know. Certainly not more than about 3.
Yeah, probably not a good idea to waste that move when it's not going to lead to an out. Or much of a chance of one. There's strike 1 to Correa. Brewers nothing. Diamondbacks nothing. Bottom of the 1st at Arizona. Mike Fiers going for Milwaukee. In the dirt, and it's 1-1. And with Miley, it would be probably relatively easy to steal a base if the base runner picked the right pitch, because he's been in the dirt a number of times. But then again, if he throws it well for Hannigan with Hannigan's arm, good luck with that. 1-2.
My hunch would be that stolen bases, stealing 3rd, maybe more historically successful against Miley than trying to steal 2nd.
True. With left-handed pitchers, it can be easier to get a bigger lead off second. It's something they don't often look around and check the base runner. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He turns to that changeup a lot of times when he needs a big swing and a miss.
Dodgers shut out the Mets today, 3-0 in New York. Clayton Kershaw going to 8-6, beating Bartolo Colon. He's 9-9. 3-2 now, and another full count for Miley. That's the 8th. So 95 pitches, and the Boston bullpen has struggled this season. Correa takes ball 4. Now back-to-back walks for the second time tonight. A total of 5 walks in the game for Miley. And Carl Willis, the pitching coach, comes out.
That's a lot of pitches thrown. Keep in mind we're just in the 5th inning. He's got a chance of being over 100 through 5 and yet leading 2-1. Rather remarkable.
He has battled tonight.
Of course, it's a night that Lance McCullers, we've talked about it, has had his struggles with command, and he's only given up a pair of runs.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison. Both these guys have certainly had much better games than they're having tonight, but it's still anybody's ball game. And they're just fighting to stay in. Evan Gattis singled up the middle in the first. He bounced into a forced play in the third, trying to deliver the big 2-out blow here. And he is 4 for 7 in his career against Miley. With Kershaw's 3-hit shutout today, with no walks and 11 strikeouts, he delivered yet another powerful game for the Dodgers. There's ball 1 to Gattis, and when you combine Kershaw's consecutive scoreless inning streak with Zach Greinke's, the total innings between those two guys, 72 2/3 innings without giving up a run. Kershaw now has 29 and Greinke has 43 2/3.
What's the mark, the total that Hershiser came up with?
He was at
68-ish?
59, I think.
Or was it that?
Well, you might be including postseason because that slopped over to postseason that year. But that's not counted under the record for regular season, of course.
It was Don Drysdale that Hershiser went by, I believe.
Yeah, he had 56 2/3, something like that. High for ball 3, and it's 3-0 to Gattis. Now very interesting with 2 outs. Assuming a green light here for him on the 100th pitch for Miley coming up.
Phone just rang in that bullpen for the Red Sox.
They have not had a pitcher warming up. Gattis takes it. It's 3-1.
Sometimes on 3-0, pitchers get a little more.
Automatic.
That term has been used many times by hitters.
Grounded to shortstop. Bogarts takes his time, throws out Gattis. No runs, 1 hit. The big play at third, important for Boston in maintaining the 2-1 lead.
As the Astros turn to left-hander Tony Sipp out of the pen. 37 games on the year for Tony. 2.94 that ERA, so he's been effective certainly against lefties. 186 the mark against him, and only one home run allowed to the lefties. Even the right-handers having a very tough time. And he strikes out right there at a strikeout an inning. Tony continues to be an effective man out of the pen.
Coming in now with the Astros trailing at 2-1. McCullers threw 89 pitches, 52 for strikes in his 5 innings, allowing 6 hits, 2 runs, walking 3, and fanning 2. De Aza leads it off. De Aza 0 for 2, a fly ball to right and ground out to short. Sip pitched last against the Texas Rangers 5 days ago. An inning and a third, no hits, no runs for Tony. Strike. Napoli and Hannigan to follow in the 6th inning. Jimmy Rollins homered in that Dodger win, his 9th of the year. Dodgers are now 55 and 42. A strike makes it 0-2. There are rumors that the Dodgers might be shopping Yasiel Puig. Carl Crawford just came off the disabled list. He's not going to be playing much. If everybody else is healthy, it would appear. Andre Ethier has been good. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Let's look at the NL West.
Well, Yasiel Puig hasn't been quite that same impact player, though, has he?
No, not at all. He has 5 homers. Are the Padres in it? They're 10 games out.
Talking like they might be.
That's a strikeout for Tony Sipp, out number 1. Well, that outfield that they put together, a potential superstar outfield, has really not worked out. Matt Kemp's had a bad year. Will Myers has been hurt most of the year. But they still have Justin Upton, and they could use him as a trade piece should they want to.
He is one of the really upper echelon players, I think, in the game.
Napoli's had a big game tonight with a homer and a double. He looks at ball 1. I think a lot of these teams are still kind of on the fence in terms of whether they want to be sellers. And they're trying to buy some time here, at least a few days before they pull the trigger. In for a strike, 1-1.
So what if you're the Padres and you decide, okay, maybe we're sellers here, and Upton is the guy that can get you the most return. So you lose Upton, but you still are hanging on to Matt Kemp because nobody's interested. And to me, that's a real tough spot to be in.
It is a tough spot. 1-2 with Alexi Ogando warming up in the Boston bullpen. Absolutely, Ash.
Greg Kimbrell could bring a boatload.
He could. He's one of the elite closers in the game. Tyson Ross's name is out there in rumors. It's 2-2. Even saw a rumor about James Shields today. There is Ogando warming up. Shields to the Chicago Cubs. That's the rumor for Starlin Castro. Padres could use a shortstop. Shields is making a lot of money. Cubs have a lot of money. Struck him out looking. 2 down.
Create memories, have fun, and enjoy a premium experience with an Astros luxury suite right here at Minute Maid Park. Call the Astros premium ticket line at 1-877-9-ASTROS and reserve your luxury suite today.
What a sweet time they're having.
I think you nailed it with that one.
You ever watched a game from up there?
I have not. Well, you know what? I'm going to take that back because I have been here for one of those as one of the group kind of things coming in.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Ryan Hannigan's 1 for 2. Tony Sipp delivers. There's strike 1. Joe Thatcher, as you know, has been designated for assignment by the Astros, so that leaves
Tony Sipes, the lefty in the bullpen. Fly ball out to center field. Marisnik measuring and catching for out number 3. Middle of the 6th inning, 2-1 Red Sox.
Head on the road again, but they've played so well here at Minute Maid Park, and they'll be back soon. Just one series on the road. Check out their record. Well, you don't see it here, but they were 16-5 here at Minute Maid Park since June 1st. And here's a couple of guys who've played a big part. Our TXU Energy Power players. You saw Valbuena with the 6 homers, 16 ribbies. Chris Carter heating up a little bit, is slugging .755, and Evan Gaddis, who's really turned it on offensively, 311. 14 ribbies, has 56 now on the season. A lot of fun to watch these guys, but they're really loving the energy in this ballpark, guys. You hear it from them almost every night after a win. They talk about these fans, talk about how much fun it is to play here at Minute Maid Park. It's definitely been good to see.
Preston Tucker leads it off. There's ball 1. Hey, Julia, you know that trivia question we talked about using on the air?
I do.
We can't use it.
Oh, no.
Couldn't find a headshot of the guy.
Oh, that was such a good question,
That is really, really disappointing.
No, but you need to turn that one around.
Popped up. Miley's calling for it. 1 out. How so?
Well, I don't want to give the thing away, but
ask it anyway.
Well,
ask the headshot.
Another way you can.
Well, we have a Who Am I, and it's coming up. But we researched this because we've been getting the critique that the questions have been too easy. Chris Carter's 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. So we ran across this one. And here it is. This is not the official Who Am I, but here's the question. Who was the only player, and he played for the Colt 45s, which tells you it was before 1965. This player pinch hit for Roger Maris and Ted Williams, and he also caught a touchdown pass in the National Football League from Y.A. Tittle.
Wow. Now, did he also possibly pinch hit for Carl Yastrzemski?
Don't know about that. Not sure about that one. Is that what they told us?
Research says ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
Yeah, so how about that one?
Yes, too. Carter with a liner to left. Hanley Ramirez in, and he takes care of it. He was very deep and caught it about knee high for out number 2.
That's a tough play, that line drive sinking right at you.
Yep.
A little bit of a topspin job.
Degree of difficulty appreciated by Wade Miley. Ramirez takes care of out number 2, and now it's Hank Conger. Conger walked and he bounced out to the first baseman. One hopper to Pablo Sandoval, and the Panda takes care of out number 3. After 6, 2-1 Red Sox.
This is brought to you by your local Honda dealer, and this Astro received his college degree at Tiger Stadium, gave up Hank Aaron's record 2,210th RBI, and he would have been the winning pitcher in Game 4 of the 1980 LDS, which means a story is coming later. Make sure to tweet at the boys in the booth, Brownie and Ash, your answers, but we will answer it later in the broadcast. That's the Tigers.
Thanks, Julia. Chad Qualls is in. And the 7th inning has arrived here with the Boston Red Sox leading the Houston Astros 2-1. Qualls coming in after Tony Sipp had a 1-2-3-6 with a couple of punch-outs. Qualls is 1-4. He has 4 saves and a 4.67 ERA.
A lot of ground balls coming out of that arm. 4th among major league relievers in terms of getting to ground balls. By the way, I think I might know that one.
Okay. You should know that one.
I should know that one is right.
Work very closely with this.
Yes.
Gentleman. Mookie Betts leads it off in the 7th inning. He is 1 for 2 with a walk. He doubled to open the game and scored on an Ortiz double. That's strike 1 for Chad Qualls. And Chad has come back from the injury, the pinched nerve in his neck, to pitch well. He tossed a scoreless 8th inning Sunday against Texas. Mookie Betts 2 for 22 on this road trip. Pulls one toward the left field corner. That goes into the seats. And it's 0-2. Well, of course, Tal Smith has already answered the unofficial Who Am I? The one that does not count because it's not sponsored by anyone.
Boy, Tal is good.
And we don't have a headshot of the guy, but shall we go ahead and just answer it?
Sure, why not?
Astros Daily got it also.
Sure it's not Chuck Connors?
It is not Chuck Connors, the rifleman. It is Carroll Hardy. Tapped to short. Correa charging, quick release, and he gets it.
Wow, that's nice. Mookie Betts scooting it down the line. That meant Correa had to make this all the way on the run, get rid of it in that first step. And look at how he does it so nicely.
That's a blur on that transfer, Ash.
No second baseman's glove to make it easy either. And he needed every bit of that.
Sure did on the stretch by Carter. Just nipped Betts by a portion of a step. Correa's made some fantastic plays tonight. Brock Holt is 1 for 3. Carroll Hardy is ball 1. He played for the Colt 45s. He's the only man to pinch hit for Ted Williams. That's because Williams fouled the ball off his foot and could not continue the at bat. When he pinch hit for Roger Maris, he homered. That was when Maris was a Cleveland Indian. 1 ball, 1 strike, and he was quite a football player in college and played running back for the 49ers when Y.A. Tittle was the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. And we researched whether he did in fact catch a touchdown pass. According to what we're being told, he did. Couldn't find that in the research, but we'll go with it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I'm told he was the Hula Bowl MVP.
Okay. 55. They played the Hula Bowl in 55. Okay. Remember Jackie Jensen, the
yes,
fine Red Sox outfielder?
Guy that didn't like to fly.
Exactly. Grounded foul.
Had to take train rides all the time.
It's got to be tough when your teammates are flying and you're arriving 3 days after they do. You're
really
already on to the next series by then, Ash.
No wonder he never pinch hit for Ted Williams. Got another one for you.
In for a strike. And Holt is caught looking.
Nice running action on that heater. Paul Hornung was the Hula Bowl MVP 2 years after Carroll Harding.
Oh, good. Hornung, a Notre Damer, of course. Number 5. Well, a certain Notre Damer is getting his introduction ready for his dad on Sunday in Cooperstown. Connor Biggio. Xander Bogaerts is 0 for 3. We've noticed a changeover in the media. There's a strike here the last day or two because several of the Astros media representatives who cover the club, such as Brian McTaggart of MLB.com and others, have already made their way to Cooperstown. One ball, 1 strike. Let's see. Brian is there. Richard Justice is going to be there. Allison Footer is going to be there from MLB.com. And a host of other folks from Houston. Ground ball to third. Marwin Gonzalez to Chris Carter. It's a 1-2-3-7 for Walls in the same fashion as Sip in the 6th. 2-1 Red Sox.
Weekend presented by Coca-Cola. That's from July 31st to August 2nd. On Saturday, August 1st, 10,000 fans will receive a Craig Biggio replica pinstripe jersey. For more information, visit Astros.com, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS, and you can do it today.
Pitch put down a nice bunt, one of his 3,000 hits up to that point, June 28, 2007. He wound up with 3,060, as you know. And that will all be celebrated this weekend in Cooperstown. Braden McLean will be there. Might have seen him in that shot behind the plate. Alexi Ogando is 2-0. His ERA 3.61. He has given up 4 homers in his last 4 games, Ash. 9 overall. And so maybe a guy the Astros can go after with that long ball effort. Well, they did exactly that in Boston July 5th. They hit 2 long balls against him in the 7th inning by Correa and Gaddis. Boston won it though 5-4. L.J. Hose takes strike 1. He has walked and flied to left. Wade Miley in 6 innings allowed the Astros 4 hits and 1 run. He's qualified for the win tonight. He walked 5 and fanned 4. Threw 107 pitches, 55 strikes. So he tap danced around those 5 walks. The Astros have stranded 6. The Red Sox have left 7. It's 1-1 for Ogando, the former Texas Ranger, who was signed originally by Oakland in 2002. It was a Rule 5 draft when Texas got it. 1 ball, 2 strikes from the 31-year-old right-hander from the Dominican. Colby Rasmus comes out to the on-deck circle with Marisnick due up next. Altuve due to bat 3rd in the inning. Roll to second. Brock Holt. 1 out. Paid attendance tonight is 30,748. Give them something to cheer about right about now. Yeah, they would love to. Rasmus hopes to do that. Marisnick being taken down for the pinch hitter after striking out in both of his at-bats. Rasmus carries a batting average of .233 with 12 homers, 31 runs batted in, and 240 at-bats. He is 0 for 4 pinch hitting. He has a .458 slugging percentage. Shift is on, and it's strike 1. This Boston bullpen has an ERA of 3.81. 23 saves in 32 save situations. Off the plate for Ogando. It's 1-1. Ogando was an all-star in 2011. He was a starting pitcher that year. When the Rangers went to the World Series, he pitched. During the regular season, he was 13-8 with a 3.51 ERA that year. Fouled away by Colby. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Will Harris warming up for the Astros. Ogando joined Boston as a free agent in January. He had an off year last year, had elbow inflammation, and wound up with a 6.84 ERA for 27 games. Bullpen is busy right now for Boston with a right-hander firing. Junichi Tazawa. Ogando misses to Rasmus. Ogando pitched last night, 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs. Gave up a single to Jason Castro in the 7th, but then he got a double play ball against Carlos Correa. Foul ball. Preston Tucker has hit 2 pinch homers for the Astros this season. They have 3 as a team. The Royals are batting in the top of the 9th at St. Louis, trailing the Redbirds 4-3. Rasmus looks at it, and it's a full count. We've had a lot of those tonight from this Boston pitching staff. 9 full counts. Wade Miley really scuffled in that sense, trying to stay ahead. A lot of pitches thrown, but
Gives up only 1 run.
Rasmus hits that one foul on the inside offering. Well, we understand the walk-up ticket sales have been brisk this week. And next week, when the Angels come in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, those games all start at 7:10. Folks will probably want to get their tickets in advance. This will be the 8th pitch to Rasmus. High drive right field. Colby Rasmus pinch hit homer to tie it at 2.
Colby got what he was looking for. Fastball in. He's got some terrific quick hands. Make that 10 home runs Ogando has allowed this year.
What a time for Rasmus to belt one into the seats to tie it at 2. That's 13 bombs for Colby. 32 runs batted in. And now the Astros have 4 pinch homers this season. Both their runs on homers tonight. Last night, all 4 of their runs came on homers. Jose Altuve's the batter. The Astros are 34-5 when they hit more than 1 homer in a game. Foul back, there's strike 1. Altuve's 2 for 3 in this game. That gives this park a jolt of energy with Rasmus delivering.
Also brought out a big swing from Altuve.
That's in for a strike, and it's 0-2 to Jose. Jose 9 for 21 on the homestand. Marlon Gonzalez is on deck. The Astros have come from behind to win 23 times this year. A shot into left center field. He'll try to stretch it. Mookie Betts over, and he will keep him to a single. 3 straight hits for Altuve tonight.
Take another look at that home run by Colby Rasmus. See that fastball inside edge. He can just flip that bat around with the best of them. Long and wiry and lots of pop.
John Farrell is out to the mound now. That's it for Alexi Ogando. The Astros have tied this game 2-2 in the 7th inning, and the excitement has been growing. A trade today earlier for Scott Kazmir, now a big pinch homer from Rasmus to tie it in the 7th, 2-2. More in a moment.
field deck tickets for all of Tuesday to Thursday home games are only $10 for the rest of July. For more information, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/HTownCrowd.
Talked to some people last night who came out, Julia, and they got those $10 tickets, and it was dollar hot dog night.
That's a deal.
That is a deal. And you'll have that opportunity next Wednesday as well with the Angels here. Colby Rasmus has tied this game with a pinch homer. Jose Altuve followed with a single on an 0-2 pitch. Now it's Junichi Tazawa coming in. He's pitcher number 3 for the Red Sox.
He's got some nice numbers, and he will force you to swing the bat. He's only walked 7 on the season, one of those intentional, and allowed only 33 hits in 40 in the 3rd innings. So an effective guy as the setup man for the Red Sox.
He gave up a run on 2 hits here Tuesday night. Jake Marisnick tripled and scored on a single by Jose Altuve. The Astros won that game 8-3. Now in a 2-2 game, it's Marwin Gonzalez. He homered, line to left, and walked. And now moves around to the left side of the plate. He's hitting .228 from this side. Throw goes over. Altuve with 27 steals is the American League leader. The Astros have been successful stealing 6 of 9 times against the Red Sox this year.
Tazawa just doesn't allow many opportunities to run. 3 bags against him. 1 has been caught. So not many guys trying.
That's strike 1. Tazawa is 29 years old. He was born in Yokohama, Japan. Boston signed him as a free agent in 08. Had Tommy John surgery 2 years later. Last year he had 64 strikeouts in 63 innings while walking 17. And his ERA a year ago was 2.86 while he picked up 16 holes. That would kind of handcuff Hannigan. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Nothing like it. A game like this in a pennant race. A lot riding on this one for the Astros, who go into a stretch of 6 games against first place clubs after tonight. 3 in Kansas City, 3 here against the Angels. Then Arizona will be here a week from tomorrow night. After that, the Astros go away on a long road trip. Texas, Oakland, and San Francisco. One ball, 2 strikes.
We're going to take up residency in California in San Francisco on that trip. That Oakland-San Francisco combination is intriguing. Just stay right in the same hotel. That's the curveball. Roll it almost right over the top.
So you'll be hitting that hotel on August 5th, and you'll be leaving on August 12th. A week in the same hotel.
I don't recall the last time doing anything like that.
Runner takes off, and Altuve advances on the wild pitch in the dirt. And that time, unlike when Altuve was thrown out of the 5th inning, Hannigan blocked it, but it didn't stay right at his feet.
But again, a really nice reaction. That extended lead and just going right away.
Really quick feet.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody gets into his full speed any quicker than Jose.
That could be big. The count's 2-2 with 1 out. He's now in scoring position for Marwin with Carlos Correa on deck. Stays fair for a few feet and then turns foul.
the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. Pirates beat the Nationals tonight in Pittsburgh 7-3. Pittsburgh now 55-40, 33-16 at home. John Farrell's staff right there. Fly ball at the center. Mookie Betts back. Mookie Betts will not get it. And the Astros will have the lead. Altuve around third, coming into the plate. Marwin Gonzalez headed for third. Relay from Bogaerts. And it's out at third base. The run scored to make it 3-2 Houston. But the Red Sox gunned down Gonzalez at third.
That's a perfect relay and a bang-bang play to get Marwin, who just continues to swing it well from both sides of the plate. Oh, really carried off of Marwin's bat. See what kind of peak we can get at third base. Yeah, they're going to review this one. It's hard to tell actually when the glove makes contact.
It is.
But because of the out call, based on that as the only view we've seen, I don't know that you can turn that around. Well, AJ has himself one super sub right there.
Be tough to get him out of the lineup. But this view, really close.
Yeah, that's one of those that I think whichever way the call is made would likely stand up, because I'm not sure there's anything that definitively shows you that there's another outcome.
Jerry Meals there with hands on hips is the crew chief and the home plate umpire tonight. Paul Emmel made the call at third base.
I'll say again of Pablo Sandoval, he's really good at not reaching but snapping that tag right down.
So Marwin gets the RBI double at least, maybe a triple. That gives him 2 other runs batted in for the Astros in their 3-2 lead here. Tough to keep that man out of the lineup right now, the way he has swung the bat for the last few weeks.
Sure is. And I don't care where you want to talk on the infield. I mean, he can play it. Boy, there's the hand on the bag there that's all synced up. So you're looking at the same thing, same frame from different angles. That one on the right, I don't know, Brownie, can you see a hand on the bag?
No, I can't tell if his fingers are on the base.
And the thing is, it looks like maybe the tag is applied at that point. I don't know. Is it or isn't it applied?
Just can't tell, actually.
It's so darn close. I just can't see this being overturned. And that's not to say he's out. It's just, I don't know. Do you see evidence to turn that around?
Not convincing from that. They may have some different views in New York they looked at. Out is the call. It's upheld. So it goes as an RBI double and an 8-6-5 play at third base. That was out number 2. The Astros have the lead with Carlos Correa batting now. He's 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. Very good throw from Xander Bogaerts to Pablo Sandoval. Alexi Ogando in 1/3 of an inning allowed 2 hits, 2 runs with no walks, no strikeouts. He's on the hook for this one as of now. Correa smacks one into the left field corner.
A hard line drive that'll turn into a double for Correa. Ramirez over to get it in. And Carlos Correa now takes his hitting streak to 8 games. That's his 13th two-base hit.
Player right there. Now, Houston fans had a chance to enjoy Biggio and Bagwell, obviously, for a long, long time. And I could see that happening here with this guy.
Oh, sure.
There's really not a phase of the game that you would say, well, you'd sure like to see him get better at, but
he is a gate attraction. Tommy Lane, the lefty, has been warming up. That's a homer, a single, and 2 doubles consecutively in this inning with 1 out. But on the double by Gonzalez, he was out at third. And then Tommy Lane, the lefty, has been joined by a right-hander there.
Harwin is very happy as this ball gets over the head of Mookie Betts, and then it turns the other way. I get the sense that Marwin thought right away, I'm not out on that play.
Evan Gattis will try for this insurance run. He is 1 for 3. Correa at second with 2 outs. Ball 1 to Gattis with the center fielder Betts shading toward right center. It's 8 hits for the Astros now. Noe Ramirez has joined Tommy Lane in the Boston bullpen. In the dirt, Correa can't advance. It's 2-0. He took a quick step and then saw Hannigan was on it. The Cardinals won the Battle of Missouri tonight from the Royals, 4-3. John Lackey going to 9-5 with a win over Chris Young. He's 8-6. Save number 30 for Trevor Rosenthal. Mark Melancon of Pittsburgh has 30. Well, that seems like a very early date to have 30. Gattis fouls it back. 2-1. Bobby Thigpen set the record one year with the White Sox. 57. Remember that? That stood for a long time. And then he didn't do much after that, did he?
Well, was it because of that, or?
Good question.
You just really never know.
Fastball foul back, and it's 2-2 Evan Gattis. Since April 26, Gattis is tied for the top spot in runs batted in the American League with Jose Bautista with 55. He does not think he's having as good a year as he had last year.
Well, if you turn that very rough start around, he might change his mind, but it is part of the lengthy season.
Gattis taps the curveball foul. Tom Kohler of Miami and Tyson Ross of San Diego are in a 0-0 game. Top of the third in San Diego.
Little sleight of hand right there. You can't even see the seeds go from hand to mouth.
Preston Tucker's on deck.
Gaddis takes a low one, and it's 3-2 to Evan. This is about the 10th 3-2 count for a Red Sox pitcher tonight. Red Sox will have Ortiz, Ramirez, and Sandoval due up in the 8th. Houston looking for insurance. A major league record for saves, 62 in 08 by K-Rod. With a shot on the ground into center field. Correa coming home to make it 4-2 Houston. RBI single Gaddis. That's his 57th run batted in.
It's a big one. It hurt, obviously, having Marlin called out at third base with that double by Carlos Correa following. But every bit of insurance, quite valuable. Evan Gaddis is a battler at the plate.
Right through the middle. 57 runs batted in for Gaddis. That prompts a pitching change. Tazawa coming out of the game. And John Farrell is going back to his bullpen. The Astros leading it 4-2.
This is brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We gave you your clues earlier. The answer would be Vern Rule, who was the starting pitcher in Game 4 of the 1980 NLDS versus Philly. He left the game in the 8th with a 2-1 lead, but the Phillies ended up winning in the 10th.
Painful memories for Ash, Julia.
Oh, amen to that. Yeah, and Vern went on to become a fine pitching coach for the Astros later in the days when Randy Johnson was here, by the way. But yeah, Vern had a chance to be the winner of that big game. Nolan Ryan the next day had the lead late, and it got away.
Lefty Tommy Lane, who has appeared earlier in this series, 0-1 with 5 holds and an ERA of 3. Comes in facing Preston Tucker, who's 0-3. Gaddis the runner at first. Lane misses outside, ball 1. In fact, Lane is appearing in all 3 games of this series now. 1 hitless inning in each of the first 2 games of the series. The Astros have rolled up a 3-run 7th on 5 hits, 5 consecutive hits. But interspersed in there the out at third on the Marwin Gonzalez double as he tried for 3. What a rally, and this is something they've done consistently. Their offense from the 7th inning on has been notable this year.
Now it's 3-0 to Preston Tucker. The Kershaw shutout over the Mets also adding to that long string we talked about earlier. And we see a note tonight. It's the first time in the expansion era since 1961, as the pitch is a strike to make it 3-1, that 2 Dodger pitchers have a scoreless streak of 25 innings or more in the same season. Question being, are those 2 pitchers enough for the Dodgers to get through the postseason? Do they need a 3rd starter for postseason play should they make it?
See San Diego Padres 1998.
Ground ball, and Bogarts, nobody there at second, and he throws to first. So that is the 7th inning for Houston, with 3 runs scoring on 5 hits and a man left. 4-2 Astros after 7.
What a play, and it was made tonight by Carlos Correa. What a play that was, with the leather and with the feed and throw. That is a very special ball player right there you're looking at.
And he also has a double and 2 walks. Now Will Harris has come out of the Astros bullpen. Colby Rasmus staying in to play center field after delivering the pinch homer with 1 out in the 7th inning to tie the game. Harris has really been nails this season for the Astros with that 0.83 ERA. David Ortiz leads it off. He has an RBI double in 3 trips. That's strike 1 from Will Harris. The relief has been airtight for the Astros tonight. Tony Sipp had a 1-2-3-6 with a couple of punch outs. Chad Qualls got 3 in order with a strikeout in the 7th. Qualls could be the winning pitcher. That one rides up for Big Papi, and the count goes to 1-1. If the Red Sox lose this game, they would fall to a season low 12 games under 500. The shift is on. That puts Altuve out in shallow right field. Foul back, and it's 1-2. Very entertaining ball game tonight. Each club scored 1 run in the first, then the Red Sox came back with another in the second on a Mike Napoli homer, his 11th of the year. The Astros tied it on the Rasmus pinch hit shot in the 7th. And then they tacked on 2 more in that 3-run frame. They've won 5 times this season when they trailed after 6 innings. 2-2 for Will Harris. Harris worked a scoreless inning Monday night. That should be Tuesday night. There wasn't a game Monday night. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. There won't be a game next Monday night for the Astros, will there, Ash?
Got that one off after coming back from KC. Yeah, the Astros were one of those clubs that had simply played more games than the other teams, most other teams, into the All-Star break, and now reaping some of the benefits.
High drive to right field by Big Poppy. L.J. Hall's out of room, and that one is a home run. 4-3 ball game. Ortiz hits number 17 of the season.
This guy has done it a lot of times in his career. He kind of cut that swing off a little bit too. Pitch up and in. See that chicken wing with the left or the right arm. But he is so strong.
Will Harris gives up the long ball. 351 footer. Now it's Hanley Ramirez. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Looking at ball 1. That has not happened in a while to Will Harris. The 5th home run he's allowed this season. Fly ball right field near the line. L.J. Hose with the run. It falls in for a hit. And Ramirez follows. Now it's Sandoval.
Never easy in this game, is it? That fastball finds the inside edge, and just a little flare down the right field side, dropping for a knock. In fact, Ramirez didn't know where it was initially.
Sandoval is 0 for 2 with a walk. Good crowd tonight. A lot of energy in the building. There goes the runner, and Conger's throw not in time. A stolen base for Ramirez, his 4th.
It's about as good a throw as we've seen from Hank Conger in a long while. Once upon a time, Hanley Ramirez stole a lot of bags. And that one is simply on Ramirez getting the jump. Seen Conger out in the outfield in recent days, really working on that aspect of his game.
A.J. Hinch out to talk over something with Jerry Meals, the home plate umpire. And he's going to want to review this play, apparently. Did you see something with Ramirez coming off the base, perhaps?
That's the only thing I could imagine, because for me that was a clear safe initially. But AJ gets word from back in the clubhouse very quickly, and you know, you get to this part of the game, though, I think sometimes managers will just take a shot on occasions.
Conger, coming into this game, had thrown out 1 of 20 base stealers.
Okay, initially. Yeah, that throws right on him. Yeah, you know what? That right foot of Ramirez comes off the bag. Watch as he comes up. Right. Keep the glove on him. Right there.
Ah.
You know what?
Yes.
If everybody is watching that closely, I think you've got an out.
You have something.
That's become a real heads-up part of the game around second base, is keep that glove on him.
Ramirez was holding his hand out as if to ask for time.
Might be a little early because you really haven't established the bag yet at that point.
Right.
Yeah, that's an out.
Jordan Baker there with a headset made that call.
They were looking at the big board here at the stadium, and they had that same perfect isolation that we saw moments ago. Now, even right there, not sure there's any contact with the bag. There may be multiple moments where Ramirez leaves control.
Jerry Meals, the crew chief, is facing the camera there, and Ramirez awaits the decision. Yeah, this is one of those plays, and some feel that this is getting a little ticky-tack because, you know, before review, you never would have seen a call like that. It's just too close for the umpire to detect, right?
Yeah, that's true. But is it ticky-tack, or is it living by the rules of the game?
Well, and that's well stated. As long as review is with us, it can be utilized for a situation like this.
Yeah, I think guys should be forced to stay on the bag. And you see, the extreme is the guys that dive in and go right on by the bag and lose contact with the bag. Are they safe because they beat it initially? Or I think you've got to find a way to maintain contact.
Well, and in fact, if a runner does not maintain that contact, then the point can be made he never had the base. He didn't stay on it.
Very true. So you can see Hanley Ramirez is safe to begin with. And then the glove actually leaves him. I think if Carlos could do that over again, he'd find a way to get that glove back in contact a little more quickly, but that's an out for me.
At that point, you can see Jordan Baker has not indicated that time is out, even though the base runner can ask for time until it's granted by the umpire. Time is not out.
Yeah, and that's another very good point. I'm wondering if that's coming in to play there for the umpires right now. Did he ask for time, and was it somehow not given to him?
There was a replay review on the Oakland game last night. That was a game winner. Holds up his hands as if to ask for time. Safe is the call.
I'm not in agreement there at all.
The call is upheld, and the runner's at second with nobody out. Long delay here for Will Harris. He now goes back to work on Sandoval, who's 0 for 2 with a walk.
I would love to know what came into play there in terms of determining Ramirez safe.
Sandoval takes it. It's ball 2. The replay review took 4 minutes and 19 seconds. Sandoval fouls it. 2 balls and a strike. Craig Breslow's been warming up in the bullpen for Boston. Foul back. 2-2 to Sandoval. Certainly a disappointing season for these Red Sox players, especially Pablo, who just joined the club this year after his years with the Giants. The Astros are warming up their closer now, Luke Gregerson, in the 8th inning. Knock him out. 1 down.
That's that big out, the first out that keeps the runner at second base. The Red Sox had it all in their corner there with the left-hand hitter at the plate.
Harris had not allowed an earned run in his last 8 appearances. He gave up a homer to Ortiz, a single to Ramirez. Now, after a strikeout of Sandoval, he faces De Aza, who's 0 for 3. Napoli's on deck. Foul back. There's strike 1. When Harris took the mound, he had the second lowest ERA among all major league relief pitchers. Only Wade Davis of Kansas City had a lower one of 0.43. Ramirez, representing the potential tying run, is at second with 1 down here in the 8th. That's strike 2. Well, this remade bullpen for Houston has had a lot to do with this club's 53-43 record.
Ronnie, I would go so far as to say if you had to come up with an MVP for the ball club right now, Harris and Luke Gregerson would be 2 of the guys getting a lot of attention in terms of the votes.
They should. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last year, the Astros had one of the worst bullpens in the majors. Gregerson getting ready right now. And this year, they have one of the best. It's made a huge difference in this team. De Aza takes it, and it's 2-2. A year ago, the Astros won 42 games and lost 59. They were 20.5 games out of first a year ago. They're 1.5 out now. Now it's 3-2.
There are 2 guys at the top of the rotation obviously have been great. Dallas Keuchel and Colin McHugh. And 23 wins between the 2 of those guys.
Well, it's easier for the Astros starters to get wins thanks to this bullpen this season.
That's a great point.
Grounded foul for Chris Carter. 3-2. And the Astros lead after 7 innings this year. Their record is 43-3. De Aza pulls it foul again. A good at bat. Keeping the count at 3-2. This will be the 8th pitch he has seen in this at bat. Diamondbacks 2, Brewers nothing. They're in the bottom of the 4th at Arizona. Pull foul again.
A couple of fastballs in and a very quick bat from De Aza. If you felt the confidence with the changeup, that would be an ideal pitch right now.
Will has used his curveball to great success this year.
And he has.
Popped up. Correa calling. 2 outs.
Here's a look at tomorrow night's pitching matchup presented by Chevron. Care for your car. Scott Kazmir in a Houston Astros uni. That's nice to see against Jeremy Guthrie of the Kansas City Royals in the first of 3 in KC.
.238, that nice ERA for Scott Kazmir, among the leaders in the American League.
Will Harris comes out. Luke Gregerson is on his way in with the score 4-3 Houston. Back in a moment.
Offers incredible savings such as the all-you-can-eat seats at Minute Maid Park. This incredible deal scores you a ticket and unlimited ballpark favorites starting at only $35. For more information, visit astros.com/value or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Thanks, Julia. It's a great program. Luke Gregerson comes in. He's pitcher number 5. We usually do not see him in the 8th. He's 20-22 in saves. Ash?
Right-hand hitters hitting just .183 against him. And he's been perfect in terms of ERA in the last 10 games in which he has pitched. 5 saves in that span. And the Astros looking to see that streak continue.
Mike Napoli's the batter, and he's had a big night with a homer and a double. He struck out in the 6th inning. Ramirez the runner at second and 2 outs here in the 8th inning, showing you the importance A.J. Hinch is giving this situation, that he would bring his closer in the 8th. Luke needed only 11 pitches last night to save the 4-2 win. That one rolls foul. There's strike 1. Gregerson faced the 7, 8, 9 hitters, including Mike Napoli last night. He got Napoli on a comebacker in that game. Off the plate, it's 1-1. Napoli's 0 for 3 lifetime against Gregerson with a punch out. Upstairs for a ball that takes it to a 2-1 count with Hannigan on deck. Another baseball for Gregerson. The 20 saves for Luke are the most by an Astros pitcher since Mark Melanson had 20 in 2011. Miami and San Diego are scoreless at the end of 4 at Petco Park. Kohler versus Ross. In for a strike, and it's 2-2.
Exceptional slider on a 2-1. You know, Napoli has to be looking fastball in that fastball count, and just a perfectly placed slide piece.
Line shot left field and over the head of Tucker. That'll tie this game. Napoli into second base. High throw, and it's 4-4. Tucker froze on it, and he tried to get up and catch it, and the Red Sox have tied the game.
One of the toughest plays for an outfielder is that line drive right at the player. It's hard to tell if it's over your head, short, or right where you're standing. And clearly that was not even close for Tucker.
It's a double. And here's Hannigan now in a 4-4 affair. Strike one to Hannigan. So Napoli has a homer and 2 doubles tonight. He's driven in 2. He ties it at 4. And the play at second, allowing Ramirez to be safe, comes into play in a major way, allowing that tying run to score. In the dirt, it kicks off Conger and over toward the dugout, and he picks it up as the runner makes third. Napoli on a wild pitch. Now 1-1. Harris in 2/3 of an inning, had 2 hits and 2 runs.
Another effort at that slider. Conger never got down to stay, and the glove came up, and again it just creates a lot of angles in there.
A lot of chanting, "Let's go Astros." Red Sox fans are usually numerous in this ballpark when the Red Sox play at Minute Maid. Ground ball third. And Marwin Gonzalez takes care of out number 3, but the Red Sox tie it with 2 runs on 3 hits. They leave a man at third. It's 4-4 in the 8th. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by H-E-B. No store does more than my H-E-B. It's a 4-4 game in the air-conditioned comfort of Minute Maid Park. But the Red Sox have made things uncomfortable on the Astros bench by tying it. And now here in the bottom of the 8th, they go with pitcher number 5, lefty Craig Breslow.
Very bright guy. He's allowed 6 home runs on the year. Working 33 and 2/3 innings. ERA's good. 3.74. Red Sox are right in the middle of the pack in terms of bullpen ERA. Well, that hasn't been their downfall overall.
A Breslow, as you indicated, Ash, has quite a pedigree of education. We'll be facing Chris Carter here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He's from New Haven, Connecticut, went to Yale University, and he was a molecular biophysics and biochemistry major.
Opted to throw a baseball around.
Good choice.
Yes, it is.
Carter's 0 for 3 tonight. He'll be followed by Conger and Hose. Nobody else warming up for the Red Sox. That's strike one. Interesting game tonight. The Red Sox coming up with 2 in the top of the 8th to create a tie here at 4. Each club with 9 hits. The Astros have the only error in the game. Red Sox have stranded 8. The Astros have left 7. Carter looks at a ball. Josh Fields is warming up for the Astros. The shift is on, and Mike Napoli is about halfway between first and second. Good grief. 2-1.
Red Sox used to have a catcher, Brownie. Ryan LaVarnway also went to Yale. I would have loved to have heard conversations at the mound between those two guys.
Oh, they didn't have signs. They were just on a wavelength. The pitcher comes in, and Breslow with the throw to Napoli. 1 out. I'd like to thank everybody who answered our questions on Twitter tonight about the Who Am I? And Ross Norwood sent us this. He says we had 80 or so people from Houston heading to Cooperstown on our flight to Albany this afternoon. Hank Conger is 0 for 2 with a walk.
You better get there early to get your seat. You know that?
Oh, there's going to be some serious competition. LJ Hose is on deck. That's strike one. Bill Jones tells us that Carroll Hardy was also the only person to pinch hit for Carl Yastrzemski.
Was Yaz in the midst of an 0 for 2 slump?
Yeah, probably. And Kenny Cox says Carroll Hardy caught 4 touchdown passes in 1955 from Y.A. Tittle, playing for the 49ers as a halfback. So we thank you for that information. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Looks at it, and it's 2-2 to Hank. Mike Acosta has found the photo of Carroll Hardy. It's in the upper right. The '63 Buick Special featured there. And the Texaco hat. That might take a few folks back a few years.
Trust your car to the Texaco Star.
That's right. Good memory. 3 balls, 2 strikes. We forgot to talk about the double mid twins. Conger strikes out. 2 outs here in the 8th inning. We found out the Red Sox starter Brian Johnson Tuesday night has a mother who was one of the double mid twins on the commercials.
No way.
Yep. That's right.
You're just starting to make stuff up.
Well, that can happen too.
That's good stuff.
LJ Hose is 0 for 2 with a walk. Colby Rasmus on deck.
It's been quite a year with Doubleman conversation and search with Retson.
Fly ball to center for Mookie Betts. 8th inning goes 1-2-3 for Breslow. 4-4 with the 9th ahead.
plus interviews from the clubhouse and much more on the Astros postgame show, presented by Houston Methodist.
Colorful crowd tonight. Bardena standing by to host that postgame report, along with Mike Stanton. Kevin Eschenfelder is, guess where? He's at Cooperstown. Josh Fields is pitcher number 6 for the Astros tonight. He's 2-1 with a 2.90 ERA.
Well, the right-hand hitters have had a miserable time against Josh.
The Red Sox are warming up their closer, Koji Uehara. 136 batting average, as you indicated, showing that Josh Fields has been rough on the guys who hit from that side of the plate. And Mookie Betts starts from that side of the plate here in the 9th inning. He is 1 for 3 with a walk.
And when all things are right, Josh is going to strike out a lot of hitters.
That's ball 1. Luke Gregerson in 1/3 of an inning allowed 1 hit, no runs, with no walks, no strikeouts. Will Harris in 2/3 of an inning allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, with no walks, 1 strikeout. It's 2-0 here for Betts, and if he gets on, he may be going. Good base stealer with 13 in 17 tries. Two and 1 to count, with Holt and Bogaerts to follow in the Red Sox 9th. Red Sox are trying to snap a 7-game losing streak. Foul back, and it's 2-2 now. It's been McCullers, Sipp, Qualls, Harris, Gregerson, and Fields for the Astros. For the Red Sox, Miley, Ogando, Tazawa, Lane, and Breslow. The Astros will have Rasmus, Altuve, and Gonzalez due up in the bottom of the 9th. Now it's a full count. Fields closed out the 8-3 win for Houston Tuesday night with a perfect 9th. He is 6th in strikeouts per 9 innings among all American League relievers, 12.19. Liner into center field for a hit. Rasmus over to play it, and Betts is on to start the 9th inning.
One of the difficulties now is Josh Fields, in order to get that high leg kick, is going to leave a great chance for Betts to run. Not a bad pitch at all.
No.
Unless you gauge pitches by the outcome.
Marwin Gonzalez is in very close at 3rd, expecting a Holt bunt. The throw goes over to 1st. Betts has 13 of the Red Sox 40 steals this year. Holt is 1 for 4 in this game. Good percentage for Betts. And the Ramirez stole a base in the last inning. Shift is on. And it's a roller back to Fields. He goes to second for 1. Correa to first. Safe at first. And the lead runners retired from 1 to 6 as Fields makes a good play.
Yeah, he does, Brownie. He got rid of the ball more quickly than a lot of pitchers will on that play to second base. And then Carlos Correa does the same thing. I like the way Josh kind of dropped down like a middle infielder to make that throw.
Sidearm delivery.
Yeah, looked like a bit like Marwin with one of his throws from 3rd.
He did. Xander Bogaerts is 0 for 4. He takes it. It's ball 1. Red Sox had an early morning flight when they came here Tuesday after the doubleheader, the day-night doubleheader in Anaheim Monday. And they will do the same thing tomorrow, getting up roughly 7 a.m. to travel back to Boston. Astros charter is waiting for their trip to Kansas City.
Could be a flaw to that strategy if this turns into a lengthy extra inning game.
Yeah. Lengthy extra inning games can create some flaws. Foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Colby Rasmus is well over into right center field. Time called. Bogart stepping away. Final game of the season series between these two clubs. Red Sox won 2 of 3 in Boston earlier this month. The Astros have taken the first 2 of this series. Runner takes off, and there's a ball outside the right field line, back into the seats. Foul. For a 1-2 count. Bogarts hit that one up the right field line pretty well.
Yeah, that was pretty close into that foul pole range in terms of depth.
Close to the guy with the Colt 45's jersey.
Wasn't Mr. Hardy, was it?
No, it was not Carroll Hardy. Swing and a miss at a high pitch. Bogart strikes out. 2 outs. Strikeout number 7 for Astros pitching.
High fastball tends to get strikeouts. That's a little extreme. That was Evan Gattis's favorite pitch.
Now David Ortiz, who ripped a homer in the 8th inning. Had an RBI double in the first. Ball 1 upstairs with Hanley Ramirez on deck. He now has 483 career homers. And in fact, if you combine postseason, he has 500 for his career. Foul back, it's 1-1.
A couple of changeups to start it. Might have been telegraphed a bit.
Ortiz with 2 runs batted in tonight is 2 away from tying Al Kaline for 40th on the all-time list. Upstairs, and he takes it for a ball. 2-1. Red Sox have not been swept on a road trip of at least 7 games since 1951. Broken bat, it goes out to Correa, and he throws out Big Papi. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Due up in the bottom of the 9th. Colby Rasmus, who hit a pinch homer to tie it in the 7th. Jose Altuve and Marwin Gonzalez 4-4. He's pitcher number 5 for the Red Sox. Colby Rasmus will lead it off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. He came up as a pinch hitter in the 7th with the Astros trailing 2-1.
Came through, rather nicely with that long ball.
Rasmus with the pinch homer, tying it, and the Astros getting 2 more runs in that inning to go up 4-2. But now the Red Sox, after tying it in the 8th, 4-4, have Breslow on the mound facing Rasmus. Breslow had a 1-2-3 8th inning. Altuve's on deck. Breaking pitch, called strike 1. Breslow pitched in both games of the doubleheader Monday in Anaheim. In game 1, he worked the scoreless inning, as he did in game 2. Fly ball left field. Hanley Ramirez comes over. There's 1 out.
Is he playing with his cap on backwards?
It came off.
Yeah,
okay. It came off when he was running. Altuve has 3 straight hits. They're playing very deep. Ramirez has come in to catch a few balls tonight. Altuve grounded out. Now he's 3 for 4 in this game, up to 302 on his batting average. Marwin Gonzalez comes out to the on-deck circle. Sandoval's in tight at third. Foul back, strike 1.
That was a hero swing right there.
Yep.
Jose had one thing in mind.
He had a walk-off hit here earlier this year in April. It's 1-1.
Got that batting average back over the 300 mark now.
The Astros do not have a walk-off homer this year.
Attaboy.
2-1 to Jose. They've won 8 times in their final at bat.
He's a guy that's swinging it well.
Very well. Off the plate, and it's 3-1 to Altuve.
See how close this one is. It's about as close as it could be and be debated.
Altuve with a drive to left field, and Altuve has hit 1 out. There's a walk-off homer, the first of the year for the Astros, and it comes from Altuve, his 4th straight hit of the night. 5-4 Houston in the 9th.
There was nothing to spare on that shot, and it looks like the celebration will leave nothing to spare.
Well, you knew it, Ash, when the count went to 3-1. He was swinging with everything he had.
And that first hack, again, for me, was a hero swing. And he gave it one more right here and got it.
This is going to be reviewed. John Farrell has come out and talked to the umpires, and they're going to review this play in left field.
Oh, dear. Let's take our look. Might have gotten that one a little bit toward the label.
See if a fan reached over.
I don't know. I don't want to see anything to debate here.
Well, that fan did reach out, but it didn't appear that
he whiffed.
Yeah, he whiffed on it. He didn't touch the baseball until it was in the seats, right?
I think that ball got out on its own.
Well, John Farrell This is his last chance to do this, of course. He's lost the ball game otherwise, so why not review it? Probably that's his thought. So Altuve and his teammates are going to have to wait for verification that that was a game-winning homer.
Astros, if this game continues on, are going to have a wet second baseman.
It will be home run number 9 unless something strange happens here. The roof is opening right now.
What a great shot that was of A.J. Hinch and Altuve.
The Red Sox players are coming off the field now before any final decision has been made.
Yeah, it looks like a concession move by the Red Sox.
It would be the 3rd home run of the night for the Astros, number 9 for Altuve, and a 4th straight hit in this game.
One other note, Brownie, if this game somehow continues on, it will be done with the roof being pulled back.
Exactly. Well, the damper has been placed, but now it's lifted. It's a home run to win it for Altuve. What a night. As the Astros and Red Sox battle, it goes to the bottom of the 9th after the Red Sox tie it with 2 in the 8th. And Altuve wins it with a walk-off homer, their first of the year.